Hey, man, I'm in the demo.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, August 18th, 2013. Time again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination Episode 540.
This is No Agenda.
Performing my duty as your official pasta turophile here in the Travis Heights Hideout in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Cease and desist, I say.
So here's the problem we have for today's show.
But we have only one problem for today's show.
Yeah, and that is that apparently somebody stole one of your something. Salon Magazine, I guess, right now is coming out with what exactly you were going to discuss today.
No. This is what we discussed on the previous episode.
Oh, well, what do you expect?
Well, no, so I wasn't saying there was a problem. I'm just, let me see. This is Salon Magazine, Jesselyn Raddick. Hello, Jesselyn. Welcome to the show.
How about coughing up some?
Some of that salon dough you're making.
Then again,
I'm sure it's just groovy. No, the whole article is essentially our entire analysis of the president saying that he signed whistleblower protection acts. Which is not an executive order,
it was
but
bullcrap.
Presidential Policy Directive number 19, and that Snowden should have taken advantage of that, but those didn't go into effect until 270 days after the president signed it, and a full 365 days, which would be, I think, in October of this year when
anyone would know about it.
Yeah, when it actually is, when they hang that notice up in the lunchroom. Hey, are you thinking of blowing the whistle? Here's some things to consider. How do you do that? Do you think, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure they hang that up in the break room.
Yeah, no, you've been in the lunchrooms.
Yeah.
They got all these things posted. People, when you're really bored.
You're like, wow, what does this thing say? What does that thing say? I've never paid attention to it.
Well, here's the thing. We moan and groan and bitch about the media, mainstream media at all levels. I would put Salon in there, kind of. And it's not alternative. No. And that they never do any of this. And so when they finally do it...
Then we're bitching again.
Yeah. We're complaining they're stealing our material.
What's wrong with this story? Something's wrong. Yeah. I think it's kind of good. We're seeing some interesting things taking place and questions being asked, and I think in general that's pretty good. I have a feeling it may be short-lived.
No, I'm not necessarily. You get a lot of attention by pointing out these things where people go, what?
What? They're listening? They're reading our emails? They're doing their what?
So I don't think it's true.
I don't think people are understanding the what it really means, what the true impact of knowledge that the government is eavesdropping, collecting, if not listening in real time, certainly has the capability to go back and to retrieve communications. Because I just talk to anyone who knows about it and say, hey, have you changed your behavior at all? Are you more careful now about what you say to someone on the phone or in an email or on social media? And I'm pretty sure they'll say, yeah. Well, so this is a direct impact on your right to freedom of speech.
Totally.
And I think it will affect people in very profound ways that we can't even really think of at the moment.
Well, Adam, I don't know about you, but I really don't think we're going to have too much trouble. We do have a good government, and I do appreciate all the work and effort they put into it every day. It's very hard being a government employee, Adam.
There are actually, if you look at like New York Times stories about stuff, there are comments of people who talk just like that. It's like, the government doesn't care about what you say to your brother-in-law, you fool.
Exactly.
Speaking of New York Times, I came across this fantastic piece on NPR, which I was just like, what? Really? Right now? At this moment? Who's running that joint?
The New York Times has moved all of its reporters onto corporate Gmail accounts. Unlike the free Gmail used by millions of people, corporate Gmail accounts cost money and have greater privacy protections. But that protection is not complete. The move could leave Times reporters in a difficult legal situation if they are the subject of a government investigation.
I'm like, how can you, at this very particular moment, how can you, as an IT department, as an organization, as a publication, even consider for a moment moving your journalistic email to Google?
It makes zero sense.
Do you
it's
read
hilarious, actually.
So this
I give you a clip of the day, damn.
Well, it was a pretty good report. I have to give it to NPR for this, although they didn't see the irony, I don't think. And here's a woman, I think, who works for, and this is part of the same piece, who works for the Wall Street Journal. And it explains, again, what the consequences are of people knowing that your government is, possibly or certainly
no, they're taking all your emails, period.
I find that all of this, including the AP revelations, contributed to a sense of nervousness, I guess, among sources.
Jennifer Valentino DeVries is also at the Wall Street Journal.
Even people who are not discussing particularly sensitive information with me will comment about the possibility of my emails and phone calls being tapped. And I think that's been disconcerting.
It's in this context that the New York Times decided to outsource its email to Google. Before the switch, Times emails were stored on servers it owned.
I mean, listen to this. Is this reporter insane? I mean, how can you... This piece makes no sense to me, where you have someone saying it's really a weird time to be doing this, and then the reporter comes back and says it's in this context that they did it?
Now those messages are in Google's digital filing cabinet.
I worry a lot about the outsourcing of email at a news organization.
Julia Angwin.
We only have two layers of protection, right? One is technological and one is legal. So certainly our lawyers at a news organization are going to fight to protect our emails. But if they don't fully control them technically, they can't mount a very good argument.
Now, when I heard this, I thought, man, is this is really a hit piece on the Times. This is like the Wall Street Journal and NPR saying, hey, if you got something to say, don't go to the New York Times.
You might be right. This may actually be a hit piece on the New York Times.
It felt like it. Here's the Times response.
The Times isn't the only media organization to outsource its email, and in a statement, it said it had discussed the legal issues involved here in detail. The company said it's confident its deal with Google, combined with precautions its journalists are now taking, has actually enhanced the protection of sensitive information. Right now, the Times believes hackers are actually a bigger security threat than government investigations or gag orders. Fred Kate is the director for applied cybersecurity research at Indiana University. He says a large email service provider like Google may very well have better security. Still, Kate says when it comes to mounting a legal defense against a leak investigation, the Times is making itself vulnerable.
Yeah, it sounds like a hit piece to me, John.
Sounds like a hit piece in a number of ways. And also, what is this notion that, Google may be protecting you against a Chinese hacker, but if they're just giving everything to the government for them to scrutinize, what good is that?
And this is the point that I'll just make it early on. People feel like they have no recourse. There's nothing they can do about these vast spying programs that have gone on. Of course, ultimately you have to vote people out of office. That's but everyone's in on the game. So short of some kind of French Revolution that's going to be complicated. Which, by the way, I'm not saying it wouldn't be an interesting idea. But the real way to do this, to get to...
I don't know what you're talking about, Adam.
It's digitized. It's fact. I said it. The real way to stop this, and certainly slow it down, is you've got to boycott Google and all these services. You've really just got to stop using them. And I have a feeling, and this is our ongoing conversation about how targeted advertising doesn't really work. And spam really is the way to go. And Google is, in fact, proving that with their changes to Gmail, where they're now actually spamming you. We'll talk about that in a second. They're making a lot of money providing services, not just to the U.S. government, but to all governments. I'm sure that they have a drive-by window. Hey, I want to get some info on this guy, that guy. Where you from? Belarus? All right, no problem. They did this like $300 to $1,000 for searches that they allow. I mean, this could truly be, a big,
real business model,
a big part of the business model. And if you look at it, essentially, Google gets such a free pass from not just the government, but from the media in so many different ways, because everyone wants to be bought by them, essentially. That it's like a perfect mix. They've got all the pieces that they need, and everyone's just buying into it. The people who can stop them is us. Just stop using their stuff. Stop it. Just don't use it. And you don't need it. I said I did it. I do it once every 3-4 months, and it's actually gotten pretty good now. I set up Yacey Search again, the peer-to-peer search engine. And now they've changed something so it kind of works without your processor spiking. And again, I'm just amazed with the results. I'm like, the results are better. They're just better because you're not getting all the stuff that's been gamed and that Google is pushing ahead. And I've been reading about the email marketers who are freaking out about Google's Gmail change, where now they put stuff under the promotions tab.
Yeah.
Including our newsletter, by the way.
Google decides on its own.
Yeah, including our newsletter, by the way.
Yeah, our newsletter goes into the promotions tab.
Anything that comes from MailChimp goes into the promotions tab. There's just no way about it. And all these, these guys who these marketing companies, they're all like, oh, no, well, it doesn't seem to be affecting us too much. We're not too worried about it. But meanwhile, from what I understand, is that now Google is putting their own promotions at the top in the promotions tab. So there'll be like two emails that you didn't really receive as emails, but they're promotions in your email promotions box.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just like they do with search. And it's highlighted a little in yellow.
As soon as if I was a Google, I use Gmail for one thing and one thing only.
Porn.
Porn? I don't even know there's porn on there. I use it for one thing and one thing only. Sending you the clips.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah,
but the rest of the time, I won't use it, and I think it's dumb. I don't even think it's a very good product. You got to find somebody who does email professionally, and maybe you have to pay $20 a year or whatever. But using these free email services is really dumb.
I think the way to go is you've kind of got to do it more on a community-based level, where you have one guy in the neighborhood or one kid who can kind of run a server, and y'all pay like $1 a month, and then the kid's making $100, and and then he'll set it up and he'll maintain it for 20 families. I think that's a much better idea than because you're still going to run into the problem of centralized services. Not so much about, to me, the security aspect. If you want something to be secure, keep it in your head, and even that's iffy if it's secure in there. Don't put it on a computer. Don't put it online. It's going to be vulnerable one way or the other. But if you want to be free, if you want to just be free of the slavery, then you've got to be on a smaller service and not something that 1,000 people is too much. Look at Google went out. I guess they went down or whatever.
Yeah, I was actually on line, and I use DuckDuckGo for most of my searches, which is it's mediocre. It's okay. It's better than actually, generally speaking, for regular searches than Google is. But for image searches, which I need for various reasons, I still revert back to Bing or Google because you can look stuff up by pictures. And so I'm on there, and I click on it, and it gives me some error message.
Yeah.
And I should have taken a screenshot of it, I guess, but it's I knew the service went down because you never get a message from Google like this. It says, I don't know, we're down. Don't know why.
But this was kind of a
check back in 15 minutes. In fact, the time they said to check back in is when it came back up, which makes me wonder whether they just turned it off because the government asked them to for a while and make it look like they're being. I think that these services are being hit by our own government. This is not paranoia. This is They've been pushing the cyber war thing, and the Joint Chiefs and all the head guys who don't know anything, like what's his name, Dempsey, with this little Bakelite tab name tag. Dempsey's goes on, and we played clip after clip. How they want to put billions of dollars into this cyber warfare, kind of thing. I think that the whole thing was a scam.
Now you're in the kind of in the tech journalism milieu. What is the story that came out of this? Have you noticed the meme, the story that everybody just repeated over and over again?
What was it? The only thing I heard was Google went down for 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, so Google it, see what the story is, and I'll tell you what it is. Google goes down for 5 minutes. 40% of internet traffic goes away. And this has been repeated by everybody. Every respectable, quote-unquote, tech journalistic outfit has repeated this. I'm like, well, who measures the internet? I'd like to know where this 40% comes from. You know, it's the same thing like how many people are killed in Syria, how many people are killed in Egypt, and it just keeps getting repeated, and then, sometimes the number grows. So what is being implied in this tech journalism is that Google is responsible for 40% of global internet traffic. I mean, really? Okay, let me find out who measured that. Is there some Department of Internet Traffic that I can talk to who measures this on a timely basis? No, it's an outfit called Go Squared Engineering, and they posted a picture, a graph. And their claim here, Google's downtime caused a 40% drop in global traffic, and everyone's pointing to them as the experts in internet traffic measurement. And all these guys do is they're like a stats company. So yeah, it may be that 40% of their customers who use their little stats bug dropped because of it, but they're not measuring, BitTorrent traffic, peer-to-peer.
It's a known fact that most of the peer-to-peer file sharing takes up at least over 50% of the internet. So how could Google take up 40%? It doesn't make any sense.
More importantly, why are journalists accepting? Because
it's a source that. At least it's a source. There are other sources. There's this one woman who really does the best job of this, and she's out of UCLA, and she really knows what she's talking about. But you're doing the story. You're getting paid nothing because writers don't get paid anything, and so you got to get the story done. In fact, if you're on one of those crappy like Mashable or VentureBeat or all these high turnover online publications, you're supposed to do 3 or 4 or 5 stories a day.
Right, so you might as well just roam around a bit. Say, that's an interesting story.
That's good. Let's run that.
Let's copy that.
And everybody else is using the same stats, so you're good to go.
Yeah. Approved. Way to go. Are you on Twit today?
Yes, I am.
Oh, crap.
Why?
Well, because, this is going to come up. I wanted to make a lot of fun of it. I can tell you what the conversation is going to be. Wow, did you see that Google is 40% of the internet traffic?
I don't think anybody that's on this panel would actually buy that.
Okay, you don't bring it up. We'll see what happens.
Okay. If they throw it in, I'll let it go. I'll let it hang out there, and then I'll drop the bomb.
A JCD.
That's what I do anyway.
A JCD bunker buster, everybody. Stand back. Here it comes. Anyway, so yeah, it's and I'm really happy with the bit
and by
message.
the way, if Google has that big of a number, that means they're one of the world's biggest spammers.
Well, you know what? If that is true,
spam also chews up half the internet.
Let me say something. Let's just say that I'm a journalist, I'm a tech journalist, and and this went to big mainstream publications. If this were true, if Google truly is responsible for 40% of the traffic on the internet, then I demand that our government break that company up. It should be broken up like AT&T. And we should split off the Gmail division and split off the Drive division and split off the Spy division. It should be broken up. In fact, I think we should start driving for that based upon this bogative number. Google should be broken up.
Actually, there's a column there.
Thank you. I'll be writing that for my Market Watch column, PC Magazine, whatever.
Yeah. All right. So talking about that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I'm watching. By the way, just a quickie. I was watching the McLaughlin recording. Here's a quickie. Play the Clinton-Chelsea clip real quick.
Okay.
Hello. The New York Times expose of the Clinton Foundation points in one direction. Chelsea Clinton is the new powerhouse taking over from her parents.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. And excuse me, didn't we call that months ago? Have you seen? It wasn't months Clinton?
Ago. It was at least 6 months ago.
Have you seen Clinton?
Who?
Bill.
Chelsea?
Bill. Oh my God.
Seen him.
Oh my God. Oh my God, John. I put it in the book. 6 months and he's dead.
Well, yeah, but
now we know Hillary's going to kill him.
Keep him alive to at least so she can be the October surprise.
You mean the before the election?
Yeah.
No, she's going to have to. No, I think the strategy would be you've got to kill him early. And, think about it for a second.
No.
You've got to get the sympathy. You need time to get Chelsea installed. I actually, when I saw Clinton, and now that the New York Times article, I'm thinking that was a setup with the Clintons. It wasn't an expose. It was to set her up. And now Bill he's on death's door. I know what this looks like.
Yeah, no, I know what it looks like too.
Where the teeth start protruding a little bit and everything starts to roll back?
No, he's like the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
This is a vegetarian diet for you.
So if you do 6 months, then you got to have mourning, you got to have the sympathy thing going on, and then she just kicks into high gear.
It has to be. Let's take a look at the calendar. If we're strategizing this, we're going to have to take a look at the calendar.
Let's just presume that we're in charge of Hillary's 2016 campaign, and we're sitting around the table.
She's not winning because she started prematurely.
Hey, Hill, when do you want us to kill Bill?
Well, let's take a look at the calendar.
Are you being Hillary now?
This would be Hillary. Yeah, of course. Well, let's see what we can do. Okay, so the elections will be in November of 2014. So this has to be, I'm guessing, this would have to be within 6 months of the November elections in 2016. It can't be before that because the public will forget.
All right, well, let's write this down. So you say it can't be before.
This will be our Deadpool. No agenda Deadpool.
March, April. You say it can't be before May 2015 is what you're saying.
Yeah,
no,
now.
2016.
Yeah, 2016, April, May.
Okay,
that's the deadline. It has to be after that.
Okay, so I'm saying I'll even go out on a limb. I'll say before 2015. I'll say it happens before 2015.
Okay,
but I'm really thinking it's happening this year. No, within 6 months.
At some point, the guy can't be kept going. I mean, I'm not going to argue that. And if you look at him and think he's going to be dead within the 6 month period from now, because he just looks terrible. By the way, I want to mention to people out there who donate or don't donate to the show. Nobody in any other form of media would discuss this ever.
Think
about it.
No, of course not.
It's a reasonable discussion to have in this world of spies. It's a very reasonable discussion to have, but nobody would ever do it. We're doing it.
And the reason why we can do it is...
We go beyond doing it. We've been talking about this for a while. We're actually now doing a Deadpool.
And we stake our reputation on it. We take it one step further.
And we always... It never fails. We're very good. Okay, so you have him at 6 months.
Well, hold on. Let me play this clip.
You have two predictions. You say pre-2015 because he just looks like he's going to drop.
Yes. Well, and I also, not just because of that, I feel that it makes sense for her to have the timing. You think? No. I mean, we have to produce all of the hagiographies. We have to have the memorials. There's a lot of stuff that has to go on, and then it has to shift away from her. This stuff takes time. It takes time. Here's Bill in Africa, a hilarious report on the BBC, which winds up with him actually talking about if he has it in him to do another campaign. But the hubris of what he's saying here is pretty funny.
The population of the world continues to go up. People will take more things out of the ground. The problem is there's been too much corruption in who got to do it, what was done with the revenues.
He's literally talking about stuff that he's been responsible for. About who's taking the stuff out of the ground and what's being done with the revenues.
And I'm only too happy to try to clean that up. I go and give a speech about this in Nigeria every year. to the people who are doing it a lot of times. But people are still going to take that stuff out of the ground. So what we need to do is to set up systems that work better to do that. I would happily spend a lot of the rest of my life doing that because I think it's a huge threat if it's done wrong and a huge opportunity if it's done right.
He's already talking about this, a huge part of the rest of his life. So he already knows, it's not that much left.
I want to keep doing things that have real opportunities here. And I think as smallholder farmers, making these people self-sustaining, increasing their incomes 2 and 3 and 4.
By the way, he's in the video right now. He's drinking water from a Procter & Gamble water purifier with the Procter & Gamble representative right there.
And like for smallholder farmers,
and here it comes,
might just solve a staggering number of the future's problems.
You're very much in your post-presidency, but inevitably people still are asking whether there's still a bit of Washington still left in you, whether there's still one more race to run, and I have to ask that question.
You can. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't tell you. But
you don't know?
Happily, I can be honest, I don't know.
So now, what question is he actually answering here? Because the question is, do you have it in you for one more race? The guy didn't say, is Hillary going to run for president? He said, do you have it in you to run one more race? He said, I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me. No, Bill, you don't.
Look, I'm for whatever my wife wants to do. And so I didn't know if I had one more race left on me last time, but I thought the president was getting the raw deal, and I was glad to try to help him.
Mm-hmm. He didn't think he could do it last time. Now, that could be his way of saying, Hillary, you got to pay me. Give me some of your cash. Put it in my initiative. But I'm totally on board with Chelsea being set up. That makes a lot of sense, and they're doing it now for a reason.
Oh yeah. No, she's going to take over the whole thing. She's going to be the godfather. This little Chelsea. She's probably irked at her parents for neglecting her. She got a good education. She went to like a boarding school like thing the whole life.
She reminds me a little bit of Marissa Mayer in some weird way.
She might, out of Stanford, same kind of personality.
Okay. All right, there you go. That makes sense.
So you have a lot of that kind of thing going on. Stanford women, they have a certain reputation.
Oh, really? Do tell.
Well, there used to be an old saying that, 9 out of 10 girls are pretty and the 10th one goes to Stanford. That used to be one of the old sayings. But I went to Cal where they used to propagate the formula.
Uh-huh.
But you do see a good-looking Stanford woman once in a while.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
I think Melissa Mayer is extremely sexy. You know I do.
She's very pretty. So they seem like they're all connivers.
She's in Vogue magazine this month.
I know she's getting some flack for that, but if you can be in Vogue magazine as a CEO and people criticize, I say fine. What difference does it make?
Why is she being criticized? She
should be doing her job.
She is doing her job. Stock is up. Employee numbers are down. That's perfect.
Right. She's firing people left and right.
What's the problem?
She got the stacked ranking going on, and she's just getting rid of people, whether they're any good or not.
You know what? It's
perfect.
Yeah, it's a lot of dead weight. How many sysadmins do you need to run that thing?
Who knows? Whatever, they're not going to have any by the time they're done. I'm going to add to the little Deadpool information here. I am going to this is the prediction. I'm going to predict that there will be a rumor or a gossip item or something will crop up in one of these political rags that in fact when Clinton dies, he actually, and I think he would be the one to propagate this. He actually died in the saddle. And the Secret Service, they had to move the body.
Oh, wow. All right. In the saddle.
Rumored in the saddle.
Rumored. But what kind of woman will it be?
Hooker.
Of course. What was I thinking? All right. All right, you can put that in there. I'm not going to dispute that. I think that's a fair assessment. And you're right. He's probably he already has the dead man switch to release that information. Once he doesn't hit the knob.
And the irony of that will be, and I think the irony of Hillary managing to kill him, the irony to that dead man switch is that is the last slam he takes at Hillary.
Yeah, exactly. The last.
And it actually may hurt her campaign. How's that for a theory?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. Put that all in the book. Put it all in the book. Now, did you want to go in? I'm sorry, because I kind of sidetracked you on your Clinton-Chelsea thing there. Do you want?
No, that was all I wanted to point out was this one. Because I'm playing McLaughlin stuff, so I got McLaughlin. These guys are the worst. Except for it turns out that and we should remind listeners. I don't know what show it was, but it was years ago. We had one of the producers of the McLaughlin Report on, right, who gave us the background.
No, we didn't have him on. We did.
No, I mean on. I'm sorry. On by on, I mean we had an email.
Yeah.
So
it's almost the same thing
for this show because we don't bring guests on and we just discuss things. But we do have access to a lot of information. Now, so to show you, just to show the public out there, and this was on NPR, or I'm sorry, on PBS, the regular TV stuff, to show you how stupid these people are.
Or the producers or the writers.
Or the writers, yes. But this one was, I believe, was ad-libbed because he was flabbergasted. McLaughlin... you have to listen to this carefully because it's amazing that a guy at this stature, this old, this been around the block, old dude, McLaughlin, could possibly think this way. But play the McLaughlin Drugs 1.
Like crack cocaine and heroin ends, will the use of those drugs go up? Ryan Grim.
Well, that assumes that the drug war is reducing drug use, but our prisons, in fact, are filled with drugs. I can't think of something that could represent a greater failure of prohibition of drugs than the fact that we can't even keep them out of our prisons.
What are you basing that on?
There are tons of federal statistics that talk about drug use in
They can't
in
keep
prisons.
drugs out of prisons?
Can't keep them out of prisons.
What? Next, you're going to tell me they're having homosexual relationships in them prisons? That can't be true.
What an idiot.
What? Well, how do they get it in? What? Wow. That's pretty good. You know, do you want to go into your second and third? Because I have something relatable to this.
Well, you can do that. These other two are the same kind of...
Well, let's play them.
Okay, well, here's the second one. Now, this is just a little off topic of just the humiliating McLaughlin, but this is...
which we do like to do.
Is another guy, Buchanan, who was
on the show.
Who's once been a potential president and is a supposed conservative who is an actual... you always took this lightly that everyone thought he was a fascist. He is a fascist, and it's been proven week after week on this particular show. Here's his commentary about what Holder had to say.
John, let me give you a statistic. I think we had something like 600,000 people in prisons and jails in around 1980. And since then, it has more than tripled. And that is one of the primary reasons you get these chronic criminals off the streets, is why crime has dropped in New York enormously, but it's dropped in cities all over America. And you start opening up the prisons, and we'll be right back to the liberal 1970s.
Well, we're talking about people who are jailed for long periods of time for minor drug infractions.
You gotta love Eleanor.
She actually is the only reasonable person in this particular debate.
For once.
And so here's the kicker of the whole
but
thing.
she's smoking the dope because what she's talking about, I saw this episode, what she's talking about is not factually true. It's not like Holder said, oh, we're going to let everybody go. You know, none of that. She's just she is literally smoking the Holder dope.
I think she's literally smoking dope, period. But so there is the third one, which is the one that you cannot find this statistic because it doesn't exist. This is where I think the writers are sick of this guy, because the show is highly written, and I think one of them just said, I've had it with this guy. He's an idiot, and I'm going to give him a little stat here, and let's see what he does with it.
More as a health issue and not a criminal violation.
Yeah.
And frankly, the states are leading the way on this because they can't afford to keep jailing these people. It's too expensive.
Eleanor, let me confront you with this. How many crimes does the average drug addict commit? According to a RAND study, the average addict commits 11,000 crimes over a lifetime, chiefly robbery and burglary to support his or her drug habit. 11,000.
Each individual?
Well, let's put him in rehab.
The average addict.
11,000.
No.
That's a crime every day of his life.
There you are.
So get him to bed and put him in rehab.
There you are. It says it right on the prompter. That's funny.
11,000, and even Buchanan, who is like a Nazi, he says, "Wait a minute, let's do the math on this. That means every single day."
Hey, John, here you go. That's good. Well deserved. Well played, sir. Well played. You set me up. I thought the first one would be it, but then you did it. Good job. I did want to say something because I've been interested in this combination of things coming together, and I don't think enough journalists do stuff like this. But I figured I should do a drug buy on Silk Road, and I did, and it's a very, very interesting process, and because it deals with anonymity, which may or may not be anonymous, because of course you're using the Tor browser, which we know is compromised. You're dealing with bitcoins. You're dealing with separate encryption processes, but also the sheer amount and the marketing. Have you ever seen the Silk Road, the drug website?
No, I've never gone to it. What's is it? Can you get to it on a regular browser?
No,
you have to use,
no. You have.
Is it SilkRoad.com?
No. So it's Silk Road blog something rgb.onion whatever. First you have to install the Tor browser, which you probably
to even get to it.
Yes, that's the whole point.
Oh, well, I can't go look at it.
No, you can't look at it now. But this is the point. I don't think most tech journalists have even done this because you can see that there's a couple things going on. First of all, people understand very well how to set things up, and I used 2 proxies actually just to make sure, try and remove myself as much as possible. And then you got to use your bitcoins, but you look at this site; it's like an eBay essentially, but much better. And
much better.
And you look at the front.
Where'd you buy?
Illegal drugs. And
you won't tell me?
No, not on the show. No,
it's probably. I'm guessing it's Adderall.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, no. My guess is...
No. I bought something really illegal that I've never done before. In fact, I intend on sampling every category of drugs on the Silk Road. Because, how can you talk about this stuff if you don't do it? So you look at the pictures, and it's just it's like a mound of coke with the guy's logo.
A mound of coke?
No, a mound. And then there's heroin, big brown globs of powder.
Some screenshots.
Oh, I will. I certainly will. It's fantastic. It's oh my God. And you can search, what are you looking for? I don't know. I'm looking for, I looked for Haldol. There were some Haldol pills available.
Oh, yeah, here we go again.
I didn't buy those.
This temptation of yours to try Haldol.
No. I'm not going to try this. I know enough from reliable sources. We're not going to do that. But then here's how it works. So you buy, you purchase it, and then your bitcoins are deducted from you. First, you have to put bitcoins into an account, and on the site, and then they're deducted. But they're in escrow, and they're held in escrow until the seller ships your drugs, and he sends it through the U.S. mail, which is fantastic. And they have reviews, and they'll talk about his stealthiness was great. Apparently, there's you can take pride in how stealthy you are at sending your drugs. And then when you receive them, then you finalize. And that means that you say, okay, I got what I said I would get, and you can release the escrow to the seller. Now, if you do nothing after 17 days, it'll automatically finalize, or you can say, hey, I never received it, and they actually have a resolution center. They'll help you with PGP encrypted emails. You can go back and forth. It's really sophisticated, and then
that's bothersome. What do you think who do you think's behind it?
Well,
Sinaloa or the FBI?
I think it's completely sanctioned. It seems to be a great way to keep the economy going. And just looking at the pictures with everyone's little logo in there, I mean, there's a lot of drugs out there. I mean, there's a lot. And this is why, the only problem for the government is the Bitcoin thing. I think that's where that's a little annoying. They love the fact that, big quantities of drugs are coming in and they're being distributed. And, hey, the U.S. Postal Service is doing this. And this can't be minor, John. This is the Silk Road. It's a big deal. And
so how is the shipments made anonymously. It doesn't make any sense. You can't do it.
No. You. So they'll say, okay, please give me. You have to give your real name and your address. But
they're just developing a database of drug users.
Yeah, but yeah, of course. What's the problem? The U.S. government wants you to use drugs because it's good. The drug money comes to the banks. It floats to the economy. I think that's pretty well established. Now we're going to stop arresting people because we need more users. This is what our economy runs on: drug money and Google. Where else? And Apple, I guess. Where else is what else do we? Oh, and besides, the tanks and stuff that we kill people with.
Yeah, we do a lot of munitions.
Yeah, so we do a lot of that, which you can't buy on the Silk Road. No guns, no ammo, no nothing like that.
I'm surprised there's not a Silk Road for arms dealers.
There may be.
Yeah, there may be.
There may be. But this thing, I was really surprised at how sophisticated. I thought it was like, wow, what will this be? And you see the amount of, it's like Yelp. They've got reviews for every. Yeah, you got. It's like,
hey man, this stuff was nasty.
Yeah, there was some of that. But here's the lingo. FE, this was so good. Now that means finalize early. So that means that even before the guy has sent it off, you'll finalize early just because you give him props because he's a good deal.
So now let me look at this. So you go to the Silk Road you had to go through. Okay, first of all, it's a rigmarole. So you have to be hardcore needing drugs.
No, it's not a rigmarole. You download the Tor browser.
You got to download a different browser, and you got to have Bitcoin. You got to have a Bitcoin account. That's not a rigmarole. I don't have a Bitcoin account. I'm not going to download. Let
me ask you a question. Is it? It's easier than going to the doctor, dealing with the insurance, getting a prescription, going to the pharmacy.
No. You go to one of those big meetups, and that's what they are. A big giant marijuana pot meetup.
I'm talking about pharmaceuticals like Adderall and Vyvanse and Ritalin and all that stuff. That's a pain in the ass. This is easy. It took me 15 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, but let me get back to it.
All right.
So you go through this rigmarole. I'm keeping the word, and you get on this thing, and then you order something, drug X from these guys. Does this then get passed on to a supplier, who he ships it? He's the drug X guy.
Yeah.
So in other words, it goes.
It's like eBay. It's like eBay. The Silk Road is not selling anything. They're not shipping anything.
Buy it now.
Yeah. There's no bidding. It's definitely buy it now. Yeah, there's no
buy it now, and then somebody ships it to you. Now. They are shipping, illegally shipping. They're the real criminals.
Oh yes, criminals.
They're shipping the drugs to you.
Yes, through the U.S.
So
postal
there has
system.
to be this is a speakeasy like operation because you have to have a special code, or they're going to ship it as a package of
this is
batteries.
This is the stealthiness thing. This is the stealthiness, and when I receive my package, I'll be able to tell you what it means, how they package it.
Yeah, you'll be receiving it like this.
No, it's like
Mr. Adam Curry. Open up the door, Mr. Curry.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it works out. And I'll let you know what I tried after I try it.
Okay. It's better not harm the show is all I know. No drug using on this show.
I won't do it during the show. I promise you that. Hey, come on!
After a Sunday show, so you have a little recovery.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't report on this stuff unless I know what it is. And you know me; I've never done anything. I
understand the theory.
Look, one thing we know: I don't need to smoke weed.
I'm all for that theory. I think it's fantastic.
We know I don't have to smoke weed. That's what we know. I don't have to test
you've
that.
Got plenty of experience there.
Yeah, it doesn't live up to the hype. I can tell you that.
Well, yeah,
it's good for if you're dying. If
let's
you got
go
cancer
right to the Gupta stuff. So Gupta has a huge special called Weed that was done on CNN.
Yes, which we exposed.
And it starts off with this. The whole thing starts off with Gupta there's some little girl. There's a secondary. I believe me. You think I've heard of this? There's a secondary drug besides THC and marijuana. It's called CDD or something like that. They say it in the report. But the thing is this secondary drug, which some pot plants have more of than THC, and this doesn't have any sales, and so they're trying to boost the sales of this stuff. And what they found is that there's a cute little girl who's having 300 epileptic seizures a week. She couldn't walk. She's just having nothing but problems. And there's some research apparently out of Israel, which does all the pot research, because we in the United States are precluded because of various agencies and otherwise from doing any research whatsoever. Thus, the doctors can come out and say, well, there's no evidence. Well, there's no evidence in this country because nobody will do the research. So, but the public puts up with this because they're idiots. So let's go to get this little girl. They got her this special pot that it has almost no THC, so she can't get stoned.
Well, what's the point? What's the point if it doesn't have the THC?
It's got this other stuff in it which stops seizures.
Oh, I think, yeah. Okay, I know about this story. Okay,
and then apparently pot plants have all kinds of medicinal uses that they're discovering in Israel. Now, this reminds me a lot of the coke thing and coca leaves. If you're in Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador, you're at the airport. You go to the airport lounge. They got coca tea, and you usually you take a bag and you make some tea, and you grab the rest of the bags and put it in your pocket. And then you've got your coca leaf.
You put it in your pocket, John? Don't you have to put it in your butt?
No. They're tea bags.
I just wonder why you say you put it in your pocket. Never mind. Keep going.
You just get it. You just take a few bags with you. So, because everybody wants to have a little coca leaf tea.
Oh yeah.
And it's like tea. It's picks you up a little bit.
Yeah. We know about the coca leaves.
There's a lot of stuff.
We know you were in Peru. Yes, we know.
Cocaine.
We know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's and I said the word okay after a sentence to stop you from talking, I guess. So I would say that must be true with the marijuana plant. So let's play the clip anyway. We'll play Gupta 1 on pot and get a little background.
Been some great advances.
As the sun was rising on the ancient city of Jerusalem, the final leg of our journey was just beginning.
There have been some great advances here, and I'm proud of that, obviously.
Dr. Boaz Lev is with Israel's Ministry of Health. Here, they have pioneered marijuana research. They were the first to isolate THC and CBD decades ago. And now the country's ministry licensed 10,000 patients to use marijuana medicinally and has approved more than a dozen studies to treat illnesses like PTSD, pain, Crohn's disease, even cancer.
Nice. I especially like the music. Here we are in the Curry Dvorak Consulting Group Laboratories, where we've discovered that marijuana is really fantastic. It's good for you, even in Israel, where they smoke it a lot.
So, CBD is that other chemical. So anyway, so the story goes on, and it's very promotional. They bring an old man out who's got the shakes, and they give him he's smoking a pipe. He says, the shakes are gone, and all this sort of thing.
Shiver me timbers.
So then they start to talk about the real meat of the subject, which is this, and it's 3 different people they interview. First, they go up to some head of some medical organization who's got the litany, the AMA litany. Oh, it's good for nothing. There's no proof. And then somebody comes out, and they have the handsome looking woman who says, oh, we can't study it, so that's why there's no proof. And then they blame this one organization. They bring some crazy sounding woman. That's not our problem. and then they finally go, yeah, well, here's the little wrap up.
Bitch, look it up. It's science.
This program at Sheba is well established, and experts say a teaching tool for using marijuana in other hospitals.
Do you think this could happen in the United States? I don't know that there's yet enough really concrete evidence of cannabis's benefit that's satisfactory, at least in that context. I think it's going to come.
But it could be slow going.
The FDA has been great at approving studies, but National Institute of Drug Abuse has been really stonewalling and blocking any studies looking at therapeutic effects of cannabis because that's not their mandate. Their mandate is to look at the harms of drug use.
It's very easy to blame an organization.
Dr. Nora Volkoff, who is the director of NIDA, says they are not standing in the way. She claims they are not the only government institute that approves marijuana research.
If you would come up with a grant that says, okay, this is going to be a treatment for
this Arianna Huffington.
It's horrible.
Drug addiction, then it would go to us. But if it's cancer, it goes to the Cancer Institute. If it is schizophrenia, it goes to NIMH. And so the institutes have a mission with certain diseases.
What is clear, there are bureaucratic hoops that most researchers simply don't want to jump through. Neuroscientist Carl Hart.
There are not many people studying marijuana. It's very difficult to get approval to study marijuana.
What's nice about Israel is that the government is helping the research to happen.
And it's research that could give hope to patients like Charlotte Figge.
I made it.
You know what this documentary did?
Yeah?
1.2 million viewers for CNN. But let me see what
the public at large is very interested in this.
Well, let me see what the demo was. Yeah,
hey,
it's like
I'm in the demo.
Well, let me write that down. Hold on a second. 53 cents. I mean, if they only got old people, like the over.
I'm sure it was wide based.
I bet it wasn't.
Well, the people that are going to make this all happen are the millennials, who just think it's bullshit, right. Generally speaking. And I think many of the generations feel it's bull crap, but they get talked out of it by these nuts. But the real issue here that I think was made in this report is that there are obvious benefits and it's not being studied. So at all in the United States, it's almost as though we have, maybe they're like your thesis, which is now they don't want to legalize anything because the banks don't get to do any money laundering.
I mean, that'll only drive the price down. Why ruin it? This is a good deal for everybody. Can you say Mena, Arkansas? Come on, this is a good deal.
I know what your thesis is, and I'm not going to argue against it because the movie or documentary Cocaine Cowboys, which I recommend everybody see, essentially made that exact same point by showing all these banks that were just doing crazy business until they cracked down on coke in South Florida, and then they all went out of business just coincidentally. Yeah, it's a very interesting documentary.
And by the way, look at who's running the FBI now.
And that crappy Swiss bank that was slapped on the hand for
HSBC, who was laundering hundreds of millions, more than over $1 billion in total. And it's just the cost of doing business. They get a little fine, it's like, we'll pay whatever millions. We'll just pay, whatever, no big deal. We'll pay that. We'll take care of it. But now, the former board member from HSBC is now running the FBI. He is now the director of the FBI. So, hello. The first thing he does, he's like, all right, guys, I got to resign from the board here, but I got an idea. Okay? I'm going to go into the FBI, and I'm going to set up this whole thing, talk to all the people around there, and I'm going to make sure that we get everyone, we're going to let some people out. We let some people out. We're going to keep our users out of jail, essentially. And we're going to...
Our customers.
Yeah, our customers. I'm sorry. Do you think they call them customers or users? I wonder.
Yeah, customers.
We're going to keep our customers out of jail, and we'll talk to Zuck over there, Zucker at the CNNs at Time Warner, and we'll say, get this. We got to do something big, Zuck, big. I know. We'll make Sanjay Gupta flip, and that's feasible at least.
To back up your thesis, you could say that Sanjay Gupta has flipped, and he's now promoting marijuana and is actually a booster. He's a marijuana booster, and but it's not getting the job of legalization done. It's just getting the job of getting more customers.
Right.
That's what you could make that argument.
Yes.
And in the CNN that was a story. I think I even printed it out. They ran a story about how, and this is bull crap as far as I can tell, but they claim that the legalization of marijuana, I'm not buying any of this, by the way, but the claim is that marijuana is 80% of all the drug cartels' income, revenue. And
really, it seems like such an inefficient drug for that kind of revenue.
Yes, I don't believe this because people can grow it. There's a million ways of getting it. It's not, But so I think that's bull. Whatever the case is, they claim in the same article that then this is ridiculous if true, that because of Colorado and Washington, it will cost the Sinaloa. They only mention the Sinaloa as though they're running things already. Of course, we've set that up. The Sinaloa drug cartel will lose in revenue $2.8 billion a year.
Well, I would believe it.
I don't believe these numbers. These numbers are this is like the 11,000 crimes. It just doesn't make sense that if that market is that big, I mean, I can't. Why is that? It has to be widespread, and these are not drug states you associate. Colorado a little bit in some parts, but Washington and Colorado aren't states you associate with heavy marijuana smoking, as you might in California. And if that kind of number from those two, and they're not populous, especially Colorado, there's two small states essentially. 2.8 billion. What is California? I mean, now you'd have to say, well, maybe that's the reason that the marijuana initiative in California was voted down because, I mean, it must be a $10 billion state.
Yeah, but I think that is very close to being true. And you've got to
see it.
Yeah,
some guy gets a bag of pot. And I mean, now of course this stuff is expensive. There's medical stuff.
All right. Well, okay. Stop. Let me ask you this. What is your cell phone bill every month?
$30.
All right. Do you think that's typical, your cell phone bill?
I think I have a good deal.
Okay. That's $30 a month. If you're smoking weed, times 10 that. Minimum. Because that's what you're going to be paying for weed. And think about how many people, everyone who has a cell phone is basically a drug user. We all know that. Hello. This is the cell phone business is multi-billion dollars. Come on, John. Think logically about this. Everybody's doing it except you. Hello, where you been? Get out of the house more.
I have to work on the show.
All right, enough of this drug talk.
Well, hold on a second.
I'm done.
Before you're done, I'm going to look up something. What is Verizon's? Which is one of the major cell phone companies. What is Verizon's net income?
I'm going to say it's net income. Well, let's look at it.
So we just go sales. We only go sales.
No, John. Why even do it that way? The revenue from Lipitor is $6 billion a year. Lipitor. One drug, $6 billion.
Well, marijuana is one drug.
That's right. One drug.
And they're getting 2.8 from two crummy states?
Come on. Anyway, it's got
these numbers don't make sense to me.
All right.
Okay, revenue for Verizon is $118 billion.
There you go. Thank you. My point is made. So times 10 is $1 trillion.
Well,
that's just.
I just don't think I just don't think everybody has a cell phone. Not everybody's smoking dope.
Oh, John. Okay, not just smoking. Okay. All right, never mind. Okay, fine. You know what? Hello, McLaughlin Group calling. We'd like John on the show. Hey, in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Yeah, In the morning to you, Adam, and all the ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water. And the dames and nights out there.
Yeah, and to our human resources here in the chat room, No Agenda Show, NoAgendaStream.com, NoAgendaChat.net, and to our artists, of course. We had a new artist check in for the album art on the previous show, episode 539.
Nazi art.
Oddman, which, with our fine Russian capitalist pig screaming host of RT. Very, very happy to see that. And looking forward to more art today at NoAgendaArtGenerator.com. And I think we got saved by someone from Gitmo Lowlands today. Otherwise, it would have been a little bit of trouble on the show.
Yeah, we had excuse me. I don't know, I get congested. Yeah, we essentially
smoke some weed; it'll clear it right up.
It's not true. Yeah, we got saved by one donation. Essentially, I don't know why it dropped off so radically and kind of stayed that way. It dropped off after the
last show. Maybe people just don't like what we're doing anymore.
I think we're still. This is the time of year where you have the big vacations. A lot of people take in August. I mean, France is gone.
Yeah,
I mean, the whole country's on vacation. But anyway, we do have two executive producers, one associate executive producer, and the executive producer from The Hague,
Den Haag,
in the Netherlands, Alexandru Bersanu. I've listened to the show for a long time. I always thought of donating. I kept thinking about it, but never did. I don't know why. I just didn't. Please give me and all the others like me a big de-douching.
Oh, absolutely.
You've been de-douched.
So he gave us 1687, which is the year Newton published his Principia.
The Principia being the law of gravity?
No, it was a book of it was Newtonian physics book. I think it's all his stuff is in there, or his main thinkings.
Maybe we should read this book. Maybe it seems like there's something to it.
Maybe, if it got a 1687. And then on associate executive producer, the good old Baron Greg Birch up there from Port Angeles was passing through town. So we went to dinner. And
oh, really? Oh, cool.
Well, it's the nights through town. You know, you and I both do this. If there's a knight, a baron especially, we treat them with the kind of respect they deserve. So he dropped off 200. So he'll be associate executive producer. And he dropped off one of the newest of the new Canadian 20s.
Okay.
Plastic. It's a plastic bill.
What?
And it's got a bunch of. It's complete. One panel is complete see-through. It's transparent. It's like a piece of transparent lucite. And on the transparent part, there's two holograms, and each of them have a hologram within a hologram. And then there's a little transparent note over on the left-hand side of this solid plastic bill, which is very smooth and slippery, and there's a little Canadian leaf on the other side, and it's very weird, and it's got like a barcode, some sort of a weird barcode. I don't know what kind it is on the one side. It's the strangest bill out there right at the moment.
Interesting. And does it still have the Queen on it?
Yeah, she's on there. She had, the Queen when she was about 32. She's on there.
I'm looking at it. She looks like George Washington, actually. Look at her.
Well, I didn't see. I don't have the bill with me, but let me look it on the.
That's pretty interesting. This see-through thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Very strange. And we'll talk about this on the break when we give the main donation segment a shout out. And I forgot about this, but I forgot that they had shrunk the euro to a small little bill. And so the €5 note is a little bitty thing. The Canadians have not started doing this shit.
It's always been that way. The euro notes are different. The different denominations have different sizes.
No, but I got a €5 note that's twice as big as this one. You just go there a lot, so you don't notice the changes. But anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been there so often.
You went to, recently. Well, anyway, so the €5 note, which is about the size of, I think, what used to be a 1 ruble note. And the Russians were the ones that made these bills different sizes. As far as I remember, they're one of the first countries to do this, and they did it a long time ago. And so these little bills, which I think are crazy because it makes the cash register a mess, but whatever. I think it's a reflection of the Russian economy because I was reading about these bills and they're saying, well, don't get hundreds in Europe. Do not get a €100 bill because nobody will take it.
That's not true. That's not true. The 500 is the one that's tough. The 500.
Well, no, the 500 nobody will take. But I'm just reading a forum and they're
right. But as you know, I go there a lot, so
yeah.
That's not
well,
true.
You go there all the time. So anyway, the €100. But what I'm trying to get to is that it's sounding especially in some of these countries, as though we're seeing a reflection of the old pre-Soviet collapse of the Soviet Union economy, where you got to be really careful about what kind of money you give people, and you can't use certain cards. You can't do this, you can't do that. You have to pay cash, or you have to use it, like you said, the PIN card or nothing. I mean, what is this? This is bull crap.
Let me ask you a question about the Canadian thing with the see-through.
Yeah.
So can you, if you roll it up and you snort Coke with it, do you see the Coke going up? That's like up the tube.
I guess you would. It's perfectly see-through. It's like glass.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the way you would roll that, I don't think you can make it so just you can, no, it probably wouldn't work because you'd have to.
Oh no, because it's only a small part. I get it.
Yeah, it's only a little bit of it.
Let me just wrap this up. So we will be thanking more people later, but thank you very much, Alexandru Bersanu from The Hague, the seat of the Dutch government, by the way, who knows what he's doing, coming up with such an Insta-night, fantastic executive producership. It is, of course, a true credit, and you can put that on your business card, your IMDb, or your LinkedIn seems to work very well for people. And also thank you to Baron Greg Birch for your associate executive producership here on the No Agenda show. Please help us out for Thursday. We'll be light.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And, of course, no matter what you do to help us, please propagate the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth. New world order.
Shut up, slave.
You know, you mentioned that we do stuff for our knights and our barons and our patrons. Sir Gene, the Baron de Marriott, Sheriff of Texas, he's now moving into Austin. And so we had a bite to eat yesterday after the market, and anyway, I wind up saying, sure, I'll drive you to the airport because he's going on one of his trips. So I pick him up at his house. John, it's like now I know that he's handling me. It's a house with no furniture.
It's a giveaway.
It's like no furniture and a lot of camera equipment. Like, yeah, really?
Click. And here's where he got the drugs from Silk Road. What do you want to do with it? What do you want to do with this news? Oh, I don't know. Who gives a crap? Let him go. We're getting too much good material from him.
I forgot to mention there is we had the peerage map, speaking of our knights, barons, earls, etc., with the protectorates is now, we have a new producer maintaining this for us, and you can find it at itm.im/peers. And it's very well done. It is a Google Map mashup. itm.im/peers, PERS. I'm surprised you didn't know about this, John. You being the peerage office. But it's cool. You can see who owns what, who's in charge of which portion of the universe, so that after the war we'll know who to talk to.
Yeah, no, it'd be perfect. We can round them up and give them their areas. We get to take some government buildings and put them in charge.
I just let me do two fascistic things. First, our president, his weekly show. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Over the past few weeks, I've been visiting with Americans across the country to talk about what we need to do to secure a better bargain for the middle class.
This is really getting on my nerves. This better, because I'm in the middle class. I presume I'm not poor. I'm certainly not rich. We've discussed this before. What defines the middle class?
Are you looking for a bargain?
Well, I got one.
We need to rebuild an economy that rewards hard work and responsibility.
Okay, so let me just get this straight. I am in the middle class. I'm part of a bargain that rewards hard work with something. And let me see what will my life be like. This, by the way.
Wait. It rewards hard work with what?
I think he said a better economy. Let me listen.
But that doesn't help me.
Well, let me listen.
Middle class. We need to rebuild an economy that rewards hard work and responsibility.
Oh, it just rewards. It could be a sticker.
Yeah, it could be a sticker.
Let's find out, because he's talking to young people. I only have like 10 more seconds of this. And this is his pitch for Obamacare. And young people, you got to go to healthcare.gov and figure out, where you have to buy your mandatory health care. But here's the reward, apparently, for working hard.
An economy built firmly on the cornerstones of middle-class life. Good jobs, a good education, a home of your own, a secure retirement, and quality, affordable health care that's there when you need it.
And then you can die. That's there when you need it.
It sounds like it.
It's like, okay, let me just get my life here. So I'm going to work hard, send kids to college, retire, die.
You know, there's some assumption, especially in the administration that's running this, you know, not well-experienced group of people running the country, that Americans are idiots. And the idea is that the youngsters, the millennials, are all going to jump on board of an overpriced scheme when they don't need expensive health care insurance.
Well, they're going to have to. It's going to be mandatory.
No, they'll just take the fines. And
you think?
Yeah, there's nothing but discussion about this. Well, I'd rather pay this penalty than pay this other thing, which is twice.
I really don't want to talk about Obamacare on our show.
Well, I'm just going to say they're going to not jump in and they're going to abuse it like any American would do. It's just like you can get there faster, but I'm going to charge you $10. I'm going to give you a ticket for $10, even though it's not going to go on your record. But if you speed, that's what's going to happen. In Kansas, if you're speeding.
Stop. You're killing me.
No, seriously. In Kansas, if you're speeding, if you give I don't know if you give it to the cop or the court, you just give them a bunch of money and then they say, okay, it's not on your record. It's like there's different fines. If you're an idiot, you don't, or you're driving without insurance. Anyway, I'm just saying that these things don't work out with Americans if there's a way around it.
If you're in Martha's Vineyard, by the way, where the president is vacationing, and should you see him at your local fish snack stop, where you always see these pictures of the president, buying some fries or something, just say Heil. Tell him I sent you. Here's Herr Bloomberg of New York City, who has a solution for the public housing in New York, and I think he's probably talking to the next mayor of the city, and it kind of gives you a feel of how the elites of the world, and what is Bloomberg worth? 10 billion, maybe more.
Yeah, he's worth quite a bit.
Worth a lot of money. Here's how he thinks about you citizens.
And one of the things they would have a very difficult time in doing is running the police department and bringing crime down. And I saw the judge now wants to get involved in the New York City Housing Authority. That is 5% of our population lives in NYCHA housing. 20% of the crime is in NYCHA housing, numbers like that. And we've just got to find some ways to keep bringing crime down there. And we have a whole group of police officers assigned to NYCHA housing. The people that live there, most of them, want more police protection. They want more people. If you have strangers walking in the halls of your apartment building, don't you want somebody to stop and say, who are you? Why are you here? Because the locks on these doors, with so many people coming and going, you really can't. What we wanted to do...
Even with swipe cards or any other security systems.
We wanted... what we really should have is fingerprinting to get in. And, of course, since there's an allegation that some of these apartments aren't occupied by the people who originally have...
So, if you're in the middle class and you get to work, send your kids to school, retire and die, and if you're poor, you get fingerprinted.
Like it or not.
We should have fingerprinted those people. What are we thinking?
Well, the guys would have really fit right in the 30s Germany.
Oh, I wish people really saw it. I wish they really could open their eyes and see what's going on.
Fingerprints.
Did you just do meh?
Meh.
Did you do a meh?
I didn't do meh. I said but you sounded like meh. Meh is the same thing.
So the F Russia gay law thing continues. And I actually have an email that from one of our producers, which was kind of nice, that I wanted to read. But I also, the more I think about it, the reason why this is ongoing is I think it's to promote the Winter Olympics. I didn't even know about the Sochi Winter Olympics until this gay law cropped up. Did you?
Yeah.
You knew? I mean, I really hadn't heard about it. Now it's just hear over and over again. Oh, did you know it was Sochi? That's where it is? Did you
no.
See?
No. I just knew it was in Russia.
You learned something, right?
Well, I wasn't going to go there anyway.
No, but the whole point is to watch it on television.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a big promotional deal now.
Okay, if you want to go in that direction, I got 2 clips.
Can I? Okay. I'll read my I'll read my email later. Go ahead.
You can pull back. But this is getting on my nerves, what you just said. I'll play the other one later, but I just want to play. This was on ABC Network, believe it or not. It was a story about a Canadian. This is the Trader Joe's clip, WTF it says. This was on network TV. A story about some Canadian who was coming down to the United States to buy from Trader Joe's and take the goods up north and resell them to the Canadians, because God knows there's nothing as high quality and demand and high demand for the crap they sell at Trader Joe's to yuppies.
Now to the battle between Trader Joe's and that customer buying carts full of groceries and then driving them across the border to sell in his own store. Trader Joe's not happy tonight. Here's ABC's Rena Ninen.
Michael Hallett says his fellow Canadians love Trader Joe products.
So the only way you can get a decent cracker in Canada is to go to Trader Joe's.
Hard to believe, but Hallett drives nearly 80 miles from Canada across the border to Washington State. He says spending $22,000 a month on Trader Joe products, then turning around and reselling them at his Pirate Joe's, fully acknowledging it's all unauthorized, unaffiliated. The real Trader Joe's is now suing to stop him from selling and also for damages, a result of trademark infringement, false endorsements, false advertising, and other allegations. There are more than 390 Trader Joe's across America in more than 30 states, 14 stores in Washington alone. Mm-hmm. And while Hallett says he only makes about $2 on each item, he now has to go further to get the products.
There was a heat wave in California. I tried the LA run, and that didn't go very well, so we lost a bunch of chocolate.
The store sign, ironically, has lost its P.
All right, can I stop? Because I think your point is that they're basically doing an ad for Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just Googled around while that was running, and here's more ABC. Oh, fuck, I'm going to fucking ad. Forget about it. I won't play it. Rumors fly. Trader Joe's may replace Shapes Gym in Florida. I mean, there's a big buy. They did a media buy, and they're rolling it out. Yeah,
but
they're rolling it out.
It's one of these deals that you have to do now because, these media people, they got more targeted. We need some stories.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll give you the money, but we'd like to have if you could do a feature. Well, we can do a feature. We have to do it on a Sunday show or weekend. ABC News Weekend. That'd be okay.
You should save this story for the donation segment. You're popping too early here, bro.
I got another one, and so they do this. You have to play the whole thing because there's another little gem in this thing, whereas they're gonna. It's obviously fixed. This is paid for editorial, and this is the problem that I don't understand why the people that listen to our show don't appreciate this more. What we do, which is none of this crap. Although we're giving a plug to Trader Joe's, at the same time we're telling you what Trader Joe's used to be a pretty cool chain when they were 3 stores. Now it stinks. But anyway, finish this off, and then you'll get the gem at the end.
P, now reading Irate Joe's, which Hallett says sums up his own frustrations.
If they said they were opening a store in Vancouver tomorrow or this year or next year, I'd
there
close
it is.
the store.
Trader Joe's is not commenting. The other store owner saying he wants to start a knockoff McDonald's next, David.
Oh,
yeah, because heaven forbid there's not enough McDonald's.
We need more McDonald's advertising. Oh, nice.
They threw a quickie for McDonald's, gave it in there, which is also an ad.
That was actually a make good, I think. They messed up.
McDonald's probably was.
They messed up an ad. They cut off the ending of an ad somewhere. Like, we'll make it up to you. Don't worry about it.
We'll throw it in editorial. It's worth more than editorial.
It's worth a lot more. So I got an email here from Brian, producer Brian. Adam, on episode 536, while wearing a man dress, you shared your analysis of what is commonly referred to as the Russian anti-gay law. Prior to hearing your take, I did find the mainstream coverage of this law to be curious, mainly because in the coverage by English-speaking media, there was an almost universal omission of the word children. That being said, I generally accepted what was reported by English-language mainstream alternative and LGBT-specific media to be accurate. With that in mind, after hearing your analysis, as a gay man, I began extensively researching and analyzing Russian Federation Law N135FZ in hopes of debunking your analysis. This research project has not been easy, even with an extensive background in both journalism and politics. Obtaining accurately translated versions of the essential information was difficult, to say the least, because no English-language news media outlet or NGO made these documents available to the viewer or reader. Because of my yearning to debunk your analysis, I was able to obtain a plethora of Russian-language documents from Kremlin State Duma, the Russian Federation Council, and the Supreme Court of Russian Federation. I utilized best-in-class translation tools in order to compile accurate versions of these documents in English. I will point out, by the way, that we just asked our producers, we have many Russian producers, to translate it for us, and they all kind of came back with the same thing. That's how we did it. We didn't have to do too much work. We just got a great podcast.
Reach, my friend, reach.
Oh, shoot. What happened? Oh, damn.
What?
Somehow the connection lost to my trackpad. Okay, we're back here. I anticipated my final analysis to be complete soon, but given the increased coverage of this topic, I'm sharing with you the following translated documents, etc., etc., etc. Following an extensive review of the text of the legislation, the changes the legislation has made to both Russian Federation law and Code of Administrative Offenses, prior to Russian Federation Supreme Court decisions and LGBT rights granted to Russian Federation citizens that the United States doesn't grant LGBT citizens. Interesting. You hear that? The Russian Federation grants more rights to LGBT citizens than the United States. I have unequivocally concluded that the comments by English-speaking non-Russian public figures and the global English-speaking media are absolutely false and, frankly, lies. Your analysis is completely accurate.
And this is a shock to anybody?
I like the fact that he has an extensive background in journalism and politics, is gay, and was like, screw you, Curry. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. And so we had the link to his analysis in the show notes. I thought that was nice.
Another convert.
Send pictures next time, big boy.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, but we get a lot of this stuff, and we got, I think, some Russian girl, Sheena, who sent an email. And she's really up. She's in a really long email, and, she's like, it was titled, "Parody, Please, would be much appreciated."
Oh, yeah, I got that, too.
Oh, you got that, too?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a big, long email.
Yeah, it's like, Russia Today is good. The horrible Skype connection is because they're researchers and journalists. And like, Sheena, do you understand the word irony? Did they not have this in Russia? Irony, John? Is that what we're missing somewhere?
They have. They're a little weak on sarcasm.
Okay, sarcasm. Maybe that's
and they're a little
the problem.
Irony. I'm thinking irony is really a tough one because you have this theory. You should bring it up again. That Latins.
No, Latins do not understand irony at all.
Yeah. No. So you can't be ironic.
No, they take everything very seriously.
So you get hung. This is what the ironic in Mexico is. Does not work.
No.
And in fact, sarcasm probably doesn't either. Yeah. But the Russians and irony. I don't know. It's hard to say because they're so serious. JC Buzzkill Jr. has this weird theory that he came up with. It was about 5 or 6 months ago. He says the great Russian writers. There's all these guys. He's totally convinced that the Russian culture, has been toxically damaged by the great Russian writers. Oh. He says those books will make anybody depressed. They're so well written. Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, Solzhenitsyn, these people. It's all very dark, grim, horrible, as opposed to our stuff, which has a formula where there's a happy ending.
Or we test market 4 different endings, and then we decide what we're going to put in.
That too. But whatever the case is, generally speaking, it's a happy ending.
Are you recommending a particular work by Tolstoy that our audience can get depressed by?
I've read a lot of Russian literature. Bulgakov is one of my favorite writers, and there's a book called We by Zamyatin, which everyone should read. It's a very interesting.
Yes, no, there's even an updated translated extraction version or something of We. Let me see, I have it somewhere.
Well, whatever the case is, I actually buy into this, and I would say that the Russian people have to stop reading their depressing writers. It's ruining them.
What do you recommend the Russians?
All of them. Do not read them.
No, but they like reading, so they should read something. Can we give them an alternative?
I think Arthur Haley. hotel, these kinds of things.
They should be reading Roots.
Is that who am I thinking of? I'm thinking.
that's
of
Alex. That's Alex Haley. I'm sorry.
Alex Haley is what you're thinking. I'm thinking Arthur Haley.
Arthur Haley. Yeah.
You want Arthur Haley? You want American movies? Sleepless in Seattle. Boom, winner.
Nephron.
That kind of thing.
Efron. Yeah.
50 Shades of Grey. I think the Russians should all read that.
And by the way, it's not about your weather. Just letting you know. I read We, and I found it to be incredibly challenging.
Why? It's pretty straightforward.
No,
about people who actually transform themselves in a kind of a fascistic socialist state.
I'm going to give some tips for our Russian listeners as well. I'm just looking at my Kindle here. I would recommend. Here we go. 50
Sidetrack 2013 by John C. Dvorak.
50 Relatives Worse Than Yours. That's a fantastic book. I think you'll really enjoy that. I would say Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. I think that's something that you might enjoy.
How about The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat? That's supposed to be quite good.
Who wrote that?
No, it's about people who have the facial blindness.
Is that a new one? Is that a new?
No, it's been out. It was out a couple years ago.
I like it.
Very popular.
I like it. Jen Psaki, spelled P-S-A-K-I. We've had our eye on this girl for a while now, and I guess she wasn't really that much in the public eye when she was running the press bus for then candidate Obama. Senator candidate to be president. She's now running the State Department, and she has no soul. She's ginger. She's ginger with freckles. Cute though. If she lost 10 pounds, she has model. I don't know how tall she is. She has model qualities.
I think if she lost 10 pounds and was in leather, you'd have something. 'Cause she's got that kind of. She's got a total kind of that style.
John, you astound me. Okay. Yes, in leather. That would do it. But I got to say, the girl is good. Here she is on the Jake Tapper CNN show. And this is if you're planning on being in public relations, which is pretty much politics, here's how you do it. How to not answer a question. Lesson 1.
The U.S. has provided tens of billions in aid to the Egyptian military over the years, mostly in the form of assets, weapons, and ammunition and the like. Mm-hmm. I guess the big question right now, as the world watches, is for the Americans, are supplies that the U.S. has given Egypt now being used to kill civilians in the street?
This is an excellent question. Wouldn't you say, John?
Yeah, but I can see you skirting it.
Well, Jake, first let me say that what's happening on the ground in Egypt, what we've seen over the past couple of days is deplorable, is horrific. There are not enough adjectives to describe it.
No. How about bogative? Throw that one in.
You've heard the president and the secretary describe it in that way as well. We're obviously looking very closely at our broad relationship with Egypt. You can't have business as usual when hundreds of civilians are being killed in the street. But we have a broad, enduring partnership and strategic relationship with Egypt that's been going on for decades. So that's why we're doing this review very carefully. We've taken some steps to cut off certain forms of aid, but we're continuing to review day by day.
Now, the excellent question, because she answered something completely different.
Yeah.
And Jake's going to try it again.
But are American munitions that were given by the U.S. to Egypt, are they actually tools of slaughter?
Tools?
And do we know that one?
Write this down, John. Tools of slaughter. Love it.
Way or the other.
Well, Jake, obviously we're watching every event that's happening on the ground very closely. And regardless of where these tools are from, this is horrific, what is happening to civilians on the ground. And it certainly is not acceptable to the President, to the Secretary of State, to anybody in the administration. And we are evaluating and reviewing the events that are happening on the ground and the steps being taken by the interim government every single day.
I also like civilians on the ground. That's also good. These are great terms you should just use. Don't talk about people, citizens, human beings. Just talk about civilians on the ground. So we went on vacation to the south of France, and the civilians on the ground there, they're great. I should use my tools of slaughter on them. So she doesn't answer the question. Skillfully done. That's why, luckily, we have Matt from Reuters, who sits there when she's up on her little podium, and he just gets right down to it. He sets her up, which I really like, and then he spanks her now. Spanks her right on her leather chaps.
Both are important.
But the question is, are you confident that the policy that you're pursuing will produce the desired results?
Well, we can't look into the future, Matt. We evaluate every day what the appropriate steps are.
And you believe that that what you're doing what you are doing now and have done to this day is appropriate and adequate to bring about the goal that you say.
Set up.
Well, again, reaching the goal is up to the Egyptian people to reach. We can't do it on their behalf.
I understand, but to encourage them to get there.
Yes, encouraging them.
What's been done thus far is.
We believe we put some constructive steps forward, some constructive ideas. It's up to them to take the next steps.
All right, and then my last one, and I will stop, I promise, after this. Do you think, is the administration confident that the steps, that the policy that you have pursued thus far in Egypt and also in Syria are worthy of a president who not so long ago won the Nobel Peace Prize?
Yes, Matt.
You do.
Arshad.
You should have seen the look on her face.
It was a setup. That was a good one.
Hey, I'm going to sit on your head until it cracks open, Matt. That was fantastic. So I have been thinking about Egypt, and I looked at our two actors, McCain and Lieberman. And
Lieberman?
Yeah, Lieberman.
Is he still in the picture?
Was it Lieberman or
Lindsey Graham? Probably.
Graham. I'm sorry, Graham, not Lieberman. Graham. Thank you for correcting me. And they were on opposite sides. McCain is like, yeah, no, we got to call it a coup. We got to stop the aid. And on the other hand, we have Graham saying, no.
Oh, I wonder what.
Well, it changed.
Yes, it changed for a reason, though.
Yeah, the reason is the AIPAC, and this is to your point that you made on the last show, the American-Israeli Political Action Committee, they came out and said, we should not cut off aid to Egypt. And that's when Graham went, oh, whoops, let me just change. Here we go. I'm on board now with McCain. I'm saying the same thing. And this is very, very critical. How this aid thing?
Wait! You confused me.
I did it the wrong way around, didn't I?
Or something. You said. Let me just reiterate what you may have said.
I think I said it the wrong. Yeah, I think I said it the wrong way around.
You said that McCain is against aid, giving any more aid to Egypt, and Lieberman. You said, but you meant Lindsey Graham is all for it because of AIPAC.
Yes,
that's what you said. But what? Now let's start.
Let me start over again.
Yes, please.
I had to write down. I had to write down my my notes. Okay, so Lieberman want. Yeah, no, I said it correct.
Lieberman again.
No, it is Lieberman. It's not Graham.
Oh, so Lieberman's in the picture?
Lieberman's in the picture.
All right.
As part of AIPAC. And then
okay, so he's got to do something with
so he called Graham. There we go. Okay, now I got it. I got it straight now. So when AIPAC said no, we you know what? Let me just forget this. And now I'm confused.
Well, let me before you drop it completely. Let me just say that if AIPAC says that we should be giving continue aid to Egypt, that means my thesis that Mossad is behind this.
That was the ultimate point of what I was saying. But now you confused me with Lieberman and Graham, and now I'm like scouring through my notes, and I do see that former Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman said he disagreed with McCain, and then AIPAC said, "Hold on a second, we agree with McCain."
Oh, so they don't want aid.
No, you know what?
This is funny. I've never seen you break down like this.
Yeah, it's. I don't know.
There's something you lost your train of thought.
Yeah, but now I'm like desperately trying to read through 100,000 words, and I just don't think I can
move
get
it to Thursday.
I don't think I can get.
Oh, you may actually recover before the show's over.
No, I think the Haldol kicked in. I don't.
I'm telling you, this Silk Road thing isn't helping.
No, okay. The ultimate. No, Forget McCain, Lieberman, forget everybody else. The fact that AIPAC said we do not want to cut off aid is the important thing.
Okay.
And the aid, that's ultimately what I wanted to come back to.
Well, let's face reality. They didn't want the Muslim Brotherhood running that country.
Exactly.
And so they're the ones behind this. There's no question.
Which the president calls the other guys.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I don't think he's in that speech he did. I didn't clip it or anything. I don't think he once said Muslim Brotherhood. He just called the other people, the opposition.
Well, he can't because that woman that's in his cabinet, the girlfriend of Hillary, Uma Thurman.
Uma Habedin.
Yeah. And she is, connected to the Muslim Brotherhood, and I think the whole place is plagued with these people. And Obama just listens to them. I don't know. He doesn't want to say anything bad about them.
Okay, I think that where I got confused, I think McCain is the one that flip-flopped.
Oh, yeah, that could be. But he only does that for some kind of cheap extortion or something. He didn't get he's lining his pockets for the future when he gets out of public office. So he's going to live to be 90, maybe 100.
You think?
His mom's still alive. As old as that guy is, his mom is still alive.
Wow, how old is she?
90 plus, 99, 98, something like that.
Well, I plan on being 98.
And she's still, but she's cognizant. She's not like a dumb old 99.
No, I'm not planning on being a dumb 99 either.
You can plan whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're in Texas, 106 degrees.
It's not.
You'll be a piece of shoe leather by the time.
Yesterday has been a beautiful 88 degrees. Nice and cool, nice little breeze. It's been fantastic. We had a beautiful rainstorm 2 days ago.
Oh, did you catch the water in a bucket?
No, but it's been fantastic here. This is going to be good. The global cooling is doing its job well.
So just to take a break here, play Bladder Pill.
Okay. And by the way, I apologize for that. I just I lost it there. That doesn't happen often.
Special moment, and I need to run off to the bathroom. I'm fed up with always having to put my bladder's needs ahead of my daughter. So today, I'm finally talking to my doctor about overactive bladder symptoms.
Know that gotta go feeling? Ask your doctor about prescription Toviaz. One Toviaz pill a day significantly reduces sudden urges and accidents for 24 hours. If you have certain stomach problems or glaucoma or cannot empty your bladder, you should not take Toviaz. Get emergency medical help right away if your face, lips, throat, or tongue swells. Toviaz can cause blurred vision, dizziness, drowsiness, and decreased sweating. Do not drive, operate machinery, or do unsafe tasks until you know how Toviaz affects you. The most common side effects are dry mouth and constipation. Talk to your doctor about Toviaz.
Can I get that on the Silk Road?
So probably. The decreased sweating got my attention as we were talking about that recently.
Yep.
But the other one is always kind of baffles me, and I'm always attracted to these commercials where they say, if you have a swollen tongue, call your doctor. And he's I mean, it just the whole thing makes zero sense because if you got a swollen tongue, the image, it's the image that cracks me up. Sorry.
No, I like that. It's I'm looking at their website. So they talk of OAB. How's your OAB, John?
OAB. What does that even mean?
Overactive bladder.
Overactive bladder.
We have an acronym, luckily.
OAB. Someone had the Office of Africa or American Bureau of Africa or something. Yeah.
Someone actually had a meeting about that. Hey, it's. I know why I'm off keel here. Mickey's gone.
Oh, you didn't get your pancakes?
I get my pancakes. She left Friday. She's in Napa Valley.
On the road again?
She's in Napa Valley with Molly Wood.
Aren't you getting a little suspicious of these two?
I just keep saying send pictures. And then I get a picture, and it's Mickey next to a 65 Corvette. Yeah. So they're up there looking at cars. I don't. What is going on with that?
If they're going to do that, they should have gone to the Monterey Concours d'Elegance, which is running, I think, this weekend.
Mickey says that it's gotten really Vegas-y up in Napa Valley.
Well, the smart money, for one thing, if you're going to tour the area, most of the smart money goes to Sonoma County and then cuts across to Calistoga, across the mountains, and then comes down the Silverado Trail, and you avoid Highway 29 for the most part, and then you avoid all that. One of the things that's going on up there that's creating this is Meadowood, which is this 3-star Meadowood and French Laundry, these two restaurants in the southern part of the valley, have created this, foodie thing in the area, and it's all southern. It's the Yountville area kind of that you want to avoid because it's just like filled with tourists and hoity-toities and elites and all the rest of it.
Is that where you might find a 65 Corvette?
I'm sure.
Here's the text message.
It's probably in mint condition and owned by an elite.
Here's what Mickey texts me. Napa is now Vegas, very commercial, sad how it's changed. We're having a great time. Today we're doing a hike and we'll lay at the pool. They have a bowling alley here where the balls light up. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The balls light up. Okay. Is that? I used to have a yo-yo that would do that.
It's the same thing. There's a little mechanism inside the ball.
Centrifugal force.
Yeah, as soon as the ball rolls, it lights up and flashes.
Gotta love it.
Dumb. So, they're in that part of it is kind of splashy in that area, but that's not the place you want to go. And you can't even go have a good wine tasting because there's so many people in that area. You have to pay. If you have to pay to taste wine at a winery,
wow,
leave.
That makes no sense, does it?
No. Anyway, well, I'm glad they're having fun while you.
So that's why I'm a little
vegetate.
Off. Yeah, I'm a little off. The United States District of Massachusetts released an interesting document. United States v. Zohar Sarneff, a.k.a. Jahar Sarni. Governments assented to motion for a protective order. And this is very interesting. Parties have agreed to the entry of a protective order attached to ensure that discovery information is not unnecessarily disseminated, that sensitive information is filed under seal, and that access controls are in place. Parties agree the attached order is in the interest of justice. And then there's, the protective order is really weird. They can actually destroy this stuff after both parties have seen it. Defendant's counsel shall not disclose materials or the contents directly or indirectly to any person or entity other than the persons engaged to assist in the defense. Why is this all secret? Why can we not know about the horrible terrorists and how they and whatever materials that might be found? I mean, why does it have to be secret? Why is that?
I don't know. Makes no sense unless the whole thing is rigged. It was what we expect or suspected at the very beginning. An FBI 6-week cycle thing gone astray.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm recounting that episode that was aborted this last...
oh, no, you have to reset the clock.
I reset the clock on that. I figured that was what they're supposed to do. And now they're going to they can't just ad lib something now, so we're going to have to go another 6 weeks,
right?
Which I believe would be. Let's take a look on the calendar. I have to get the calendar up.
I understand from our contacts that there is a huge reorg going on right now at the FBI.
Hold on a second. 4, 5. It'll be the week of the 15th of September. The Ides of September.
Oh well, that makes. You know what? It's saving it for the second half. I'll tell you what, why don't we thank some people? It'll be short anyway.
Before we do that, then we want to play one of these little promotional things to show people that we're not like this.
Okay. Remind me I have this 15th of September. I have something for that.
Okay, I'll put a big arrow next to it because I wrote it in the book.
Yep.
This was there's the two-parter here. This is from Fox, the great conservative Fox News. And the 5, and by the way, they got Guilfoyle's not on, so they put this other woman. It's
the summer. She's on vacation.
Yeah, the one that I don't care for. She's kind of stupid, and they have her in that spot with her legs. Her legs look like crap.
Oh no!
Get Guilfoyle back. Guilfoyle's got these long, slender, beautiful beautiful calves. This woman's got a lumpy, crappy-looking legs. It's going to kill the show.
Please, people, we're talking as television producers here, not as John.
No, that's what I'm saying. If I was at Fox right now, I'd be irked. They could have put Perino's got better looking legs than this one, but she's kind of short.
I think yes, short legs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, their legs aren't that long, unbelievable. Right. So this is the odd editorial. So this guy Gutman, is actually a comic. I don't even know why he's got any creds at all for doing this stuff, but he apparently, and I let this go past his little editorial into the segment, because one of the guys who plays the liberal, you'll hear the whole thing, but this is a disgusting little editorial done for the purposes. It's nothing but an advertisement, but let's play it.
Faith No More. It's a horrible song. It's a great song. Surprise You're Dead. The biggest creeps on earth are those who claim to love it. Their love is really hate for people, specifically poor people. Case in point, Bjorn Lundberg, he's a great greenie with a conscience. He reports that activists in the Philippines have destroyed a field of golden rice. That's rice that's genetically modified to contain vitamin A. Of the 3 billion people who eat rice every day and are at risk for vitamin A deficiency, this new rice helps prevent nearly 700,000 deaths a year and 500,000 kids from going blind. These activists are essentially accessory to mass murder. I say hang them by their toenails. These creeps operate from the evil notion that everything from Earth is good and everything made by man is bad. It's an idea propagated by green journalists crusading against Monsanto, morose health editors, and loopy celebrities who condemn vaccines. For every media loudmouth who favors natural over man-made, some poor peasant dies. Remember the DDT ban? 1 million babies won't, because that ban allowed them to die from malaria. Thank the green movement. Natural is just the elite's way of saying I'm better than you to the poor. Lucky for them, they have no problems getting vitamin A. Their maids do all the shopping. So while it's cool to push fake fear about genetically modified foods, all it does is kill people. Celebrities march against Monsanto, but they're really marching against progress. And in service to their ego, they turn a blind eye to the suffering of others whose actual blindness they cause.
When did this get put in the show?
What?
This whole segment. I don't know anything about this.
You didn't read my notes?
But when did they put this in?
What are you talking about?
At like 10:35.
I didn't know you were doing this.
On what?
This whole thing.
Would this have changed anything?
No.
You wouldn't have done any preparation.
That was confusing.
So he has this editorial, which I've never seen on this show.
No.
The one guy says, "What the hell is this you're doing?" Because he was
right. Because he read the script, he didn't see it in there.
Right, it wasn't in the script. Perino knew about it, and so she's on board. And so she said, "No, it was in at 10:35." And this guy, this Bob guy, he doesn't, he's got an old script, whatever. He's kind of flabbergasted by the whole thing. He's caught blindsided because they're doing this pro Monsanto thing.
Right, so obviously, yeah.
So it continues. Now, this is the next clip is the Fox idiots. And they go on, and there's one guy in the middle, you can hear him, and they're all stammering, all of them, because they got notes in front of them. And they're looking down at the notes, trying to make sense of the notes, and they're trying to say, they have points they're trying to make, and they're stumbling and stammering, and it's all trying to make this point that Monsanto's great, it represents progress and all the rest of it. And I found this to be the weirdest thing on Fox. People point out, somebody doesn't know something on Fox. I thought this was the most rigged segment. It was borderline disgusting that I've ever seen on Fox. Is all for commercialism. Let's play this part.
Is essentially dead thanks to facts and data, Bob.
Dead.
Do you feel like they're moving to genetically modified foods and going after Monsanto and stuff like that?
It's really crazy. They're enviro terrorists. They'll do anything. They're holding up fracking projects for environmental reasons, and it's bringing jobs to the area. Genetically modified agriculture could save the world, honestly. Right. And the other part is almost all of our corn seed, almost all of our soybean seeds are already genetically modified. So they're a little late to this ball game, to this dance. But genetically modified agriculture is going to bring food to starving areas around the world.
You think the world would be better off without environmentalists?
I think the world would be better off with genetically modified agriculture.
That's all we need to say.
The problem is they can't afford it right now. They need to produce more so
and
they
you
can
have
bring
to
the prices
have,
down.
I can't remember the name of the company. It's an American company that figured out how to inject protein into the wheat so that if that was the only thing that you had to eat that day, that you actually were getting a more balanced nutrition because of it. And it's scientists who are actually helping.
Yeah.
Actually, and they don't have any proof about the environmental concerns. They just are worried about it.
Yeah. And by the way,
that means that people starve.
There are.
Monsanto. Wow. Was that the most amazing thing you've heard? I mean, they're all looking down, by the way, trying to look for bullet points and they can't ad lib.
I think they're looking for their checks.
Well, that too. But it was like I've never seen a shameless promotion, and everybody was in on it except the one guy.
Yeah.
And because he wasn't going to go for it, I guess, or they didn't think he would do it. I don't know what the reason they left the one guy out for, and it was just astonishing to me. And Perino, they've injected protein. What is he talking about?
I love it. Like if you don't eat genetically modified food, you go blind and die. Or that was kind of what I got out of this whole thing. Is wow, that's pretty astounding. That's pretty astounding.
Don't do that.
No.
I'm 11, and even I can spot a douchebag.
Exactly.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, oh, No Agenda. In the morning.
No, we that's not how we operate, and we can't operate that way. First of all, because neither of us have the legs for the job. So that's just a non-starter right there. Even though I am wearing my man dress and they are protruding proudly beneath the dress. But no.
No.
Yes.
Don't tell me this.
You got a visual? Big boy? Man dresses are cool.
We already know how you're going to end up. So.
Let me see. Overdose?
No.
Oh. Well, how am I going to end up?
Wearing a dress for real. Okay, Mac, I want to thank a few people. Mac, you're already wearing the dress.
Yeah.
Mac, well, she's not here. Maybe, I feel so much more comfortable in the dress. Mac Tank.
My wife bought me the dress.
Oh, well, that tells you something there, right there. Yeah. Wait until okay. Mac Tank. There's a million possibilities, a million ways to go with that one.
Don't even try.
Mac Tank in La Jolla, California, $175. Hey, gents, top-notch show last week. Keep them coming. Please ask John to tap out Morse code for LOL on his clickety-clack keyboard.
No, that was ITM that you did. You didn't do LOL.
Oh, that's what I thought he meant. Sir Victor Gregg, 8888 in Decatur, Georgia. Mm-hmm. Belated 88 for the John and Mimi.
Oh, that's nice.
I think Mimi and Mickey should have their own show on the No Agenda Network.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. They've never even met. This is actually quite an atrocity.
It would also be great if you could record and post the producer after shows.
What? No, we're not in charge of that.
Yeah, it's none of our business. Nicholas Oman, 7777 of Thief River Falls, Minnesota. He needs some house selling karma, and we'll give him that because we might get another donation.
You've got karma.
It's Thomas Borowski in Obing, Deutschland, 7733, and he says he commutes to Munich 3 times a week, 80 minutes one way, which is probably on a fast train, and it's got to be a long distance he's going. And because of No Agenda, I actually look forward to my commute.
I've been in touch with Molly Wood because Mickey was going out there, etc. And she says, "Oh, I'm listening to, the show has changed my commute." Because I think she listened to a recent episode. I'm like, what do you mean? She said, "No, I'm actually in the slow lane, 30 minutes longer to get into San Francisco and enjoying it."
Molly Wood?
Yeah.
She listens to the show?
Well, she did recently.
Huh.
I think probably because, Mickey and then they're going to be hanging out and doing whatever girls do when they're together. And, she might as well know something about me.
Yeah, I guess that would do it.
Hey, that guy you're married to, he wears dresses? Really?
That's so sexy. Brian Gilbert in Trona, California, $75. And then we go to...
69, dudes!
For 69 guys. Brian Brown, Orange, California. Black Knight, Brian Barrow in Wootton Bassett, UK. Sam Menner in Box Hill, South Victoria, Australia. Jeffrey Maxwell, Cranberry Township, Pennsylvania. The Viscount of Marin, Michael Miller in Tiburon, 6969. And he says, thank you for not selling iodine. Gregory Ball of Wallsend, UK, and finally, Patrick Vaughn in Traverse City.
69, dudes!
He says he got his night ring, and he's actually Sir Patrick Vaughn. We don't know when that's ever going to come to fruition.
But I think we'll get the database fixed.
Please de-douche the entire No Agenda back office.
You've been de-douched.
I did want to mention something. Because Austin is home to that the InfoWars craziness, and about the iodine thing. Because I was in the car and I was driving around. I was driving back from the airport, and so we actually have Alex Jones on the radio here. And I swear to God, I heard a 20-minute segment. 20 minutes, which included Mike the Power Ranger or the Health Ranger, whatever, from Natural Products, whatever, also in Austin. And it started off with genetically modified crazy crap, and put it on. And we looked at the Health Ranger labs, and we looked at McNuggets, and there's no chicken in the McNuggets. And it was 20 minutes, and it all led up to...
there's no chicken in the McNuggets.
I'm telling you. And it led up to 20 minutes of this. 20 minutes about the food, and the payoff was a water filter commercial. I'm telling you. People, you're being fleeced. Don't listen to that.
Go to Costco.
But he does it well, by the way. You're like, GM.
No. There's no... We're not questioning the professionalism of the sales pitch.
Yeah, the pitch is fantastic, but it's a sales pitch.
Yeah, the whole show is.
Oh, all right.
So anyway, back to work.
Onward.
We have Edward Sheets in Brewerton, New York, 6666. Heather Simpkin in Henley-on-Thames, Oxfordshire.
It's beautiful there.
Okay, it is. It's really nice.
And she says, love from Heather.
Yes, Heather's.
Send pictures.
Send pictures, according to Adam.
Yes.
But, I never get these pictures.
No.
That's Heather Simpkin. Adam Mikolajczyk, I'm guessing. Or Mikolajczyk.
Mikolajczyk, yeah.
6666 in Ithaca, New York. Michael Mayatico. I'm thinking Milton, Ontario, Canada. He needs a birthday shout. We got it on the list.
Yep.
Stephen Nelson in Wheat Ridge, Colorado. Brian Curry, your relative out there in Quesnel, British Columbia. Probably pronounced Quesnel. 367.
He's friends with another one of our producers, and he said, hey, you mentioned on the show that if anyone's name was Curry, you do an email forward for them, and he requested that for Brian, and I did it.
So Brian at curry.com will go to him?
Yeah.
That's cute. That's good.
Hey, come on.
You'll have a whole club of them. Michael Gates, Colorado Springs, 50. These are all 50. Andrew Haverson, Gravenhurst, Ontario. Josh McDonald, Brunswick, Victoria. Kyle Bauer in Worcester, Ohio. Philip Meeson in Powys, UK. And finally, Mark Tanner in Whittier, and Rob K from Parts Unknown. And I have a note from him I do want to read because it came in as a mail. I was hit in the mouth last October. Shout out to Doug F. And finally got around to contributing value for the best podcast in the universe. Sorry for the small amount, but I'm working 4 jobs. 4 jobs pursuing my American dream of just getting by.
No, that's your bargain, baby. That's your middle class. That's your middle class bargain, right there.
Bargain. 4 jobs. Thanks for all the work you do to package. This is the line I liked. Thanks for all the work you do to package the bitter taste of the truth in a manageable and entertaining format.
Hold on a second. Write that down. Packaging the bitter truth since 2007.
The bitter taste of the truth.
Packaging the bitter.
The bitter taste.
Nice. Packaging the bitter taste of the truth since 2006.
We do have another note here that I have to read. It's got a postcard and a bunch of photos of some screwball area called Schwabisch Gemund. Mario sent this note in, and he doesn't want to let anyone know who he is.
Good work.
It's a test. He says it's a test for the honest postman, and he's the one who sent the 15 euros in cash.
Ah, nice.
Which I'll put in the bank as such. And the little bitty €5 note, which is so small, and which got me to looking into thinking that the euro is becoming this moral equivalent of the ruble.
The euro, the ruble of the future.
So anyway, we want to thank these folks.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all we got.
We're done. Well, we do have some birthdays and some and two nightings. Of course, we have an Insta night today, and also Robert Montoya, who did come in with his donation on the previous show, which brought him up to knighthood. So we're going to get to that. Thank you all very much. We could do with more, but as John said, it's probably tough. So we understand. You've got that bargain, that middle-class bargain.
Yeah, Obama's not helping the show.
Not really.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And Michael Mayatico says happy birthday to his son Mason, who turns 5 today. And Todd LG congratulates Henry, who turned 7, and Isabella, she turned 5 on the 15th. Henry is celebrating his 7th birthday today. Happy birthday from your uncles, Adam and John, here at the No Agenda Show. Cease and desist, Dvorak. On the harmonica. It's the wrong key for the birthday song.
What was that? Oh, yeah, probably.
Just pick up your sword.
Stuck.
Can you come up with a new one once in every 100 episodes? Just say something else like
what?
Why
how many lines is there?
I'm glad you asked. I sharpened it right here. Jeez, come on, a little creativity. Alexandru Bersanu, step forward, please, along with Robert Montoya. Both of you, gentlemen, have contributed to the No Agenda Show in the amount of $1,000 or more. In fact, Alexandru has contributed significantly more. And thank you so much, and I hereby pronounce thee, Sir Alexandru and Sir Robert, both knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. Gentlemen, for you, we've got quite a trip of hookers and blow, rent boys and Chardonnay, hot pants and boot, long-haired, heavy metal, and scotch, wenches and beer, and mutton and mead.
Good.
Yeah.
Dvorak.org/NA. We're flatlining here. We got to pick it up. We do have an anniversary coming up. We can start promoting that, I guess. It's in October.
What is our anniversary, honey?
6th, which is, I believe, to be the papier-mâché anniversary.
Right. And what is the date of our papier-mâché?
Let's see. I don't know offhand.
Isn't it October... I don't know what it is. Somebody knows.
Yeah, No Agenda Nation knows.
Yeah.
And let me go to it and check it out. Okay. NoAgendaNation.com. You go there.
And you click on Archive.
And then it says Archives. And then you scroll down to the first show, which is really not that good to listen to. People listen to it. I don't know why. And it turns out to be on October 26th. We did that show. And then it was a weekly show.
Yeah, it was 30 minutes, and it was 30 minutes, and we had no jingles.
Yeah, first show was 37 minutes. The second show was 34 minutes. The third show was 37 minutes. Then it was 42, bumped to 42, went back to 33, 39, 40. Then, boom, out of the blue, for no apparent reason, 68 minutes.
And what was the date on that one?
That was on December 15th.
What year?
2007. So we struggled along with these hour-long shows, and they continue. One bumped up to 73 minutes, went back to 53 the next show.
I think we just go back to 30 minutes. I think it's a great plan.
Well, for this kind of income, maybe. Then it bounced again. We had another bounce up in under the vasectomies show in issue 23, the 90 minutes, and we kept on the 90-minute theme for a while,
yeah.
90 minutes, and then we dropped back to 60. This is interesting. I don't remember this, but...
All right, let's move on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I get carried away with analysis.
You do. Now,
a chart would be useful.
Now, do you remember what you were supposed to do?
Yes, I have a big arrow.
Yes.
You are going to talk about September 15th.
Right. So now let's back this up for a second, because we know from our inside sources, and the FBI is reorging right now because they've missed their 6-week deadline 3 times in a row.
Well, they did.
It started with the Boston bombing.
Mission.
Well, it started with the Boston bombing, which wasn't theirs.
Right.
That's what messed it up. So they didn't get to take credit. So they went around shooting people in the back of the head, which is fact. They went around driving over people, killing people. Now they're like, we've got court cases where we can't show the evidence. There's all kinds of weirdness going on with that. And then it went from bad to worse. We had the plane crash messed it all up. The San Francisco plane crash was another 6-week episode, but it wasn't planned by them. The whole point is they need to do something every 6 weeks, otherwise the budgets dry up. And now it's been 3 6-week periods in a row, and now there's a reorg going on.
We had the aborted thing that took. It was a test. It was that crazy thing that took place. I forgot it was like last Sunday. The reason, the 6 week we've decided, because we saw the pattern, is because people will forget and they won't be so jacked. You got to keep reminding them. And 6 week looks like a good kind of a time frame to keep reminding people, and they can't remember, so they won't spot the cycle. Anyway, that's my thinking. But they got to do something. You're right. Go on. So something's going to happen on the 15th.
Yeah, around mid-September, and that would. And what was your date? The 11th? No, not the 11th.
15th. The week of the 15th.
Okay, so it's not going to be the 11th, because that would be September 11th. We know that nothing's going to happen, because nothing ever does happen, except
it would draw
kidnapping in Benghazi. Minor stuff.
There may be something that's actually instigated. I'm sorry, by some bad guy who thinks September 11th is a cool time to do something, but and that could be thwarted. That would be good. Maybe the 11th is only 4 days off. It might be a good day to do something.
Well, what's supposed to happen is the kill shot.
What's the kill shot?
The kill shot is, and now you're going to start reading about this more and more. We're in the middle of a solar maximum. And we had, in fact, just yesterday we had I think it was an M3 or an M4. So there's a CME, a coronal mass ejection, which is, once again, we're passing through it now. So the ham radio is pretty much dead at the moment. The kill shot is, and so we're not sure if it's going to be blamed on solar activity or if it actually will be solar activity. But we're going to have such a massive event that this is the one that it's going to be EMP, and this is going to fry the electronics, shut it all down. This is what the FEMA has been waiting for. DHS has been buying up all the ammo for. This is the big one, and that's supposed to happen somewhere that week of the 15th of September. Kill shot, the kill shot.
Where'd you get this?
Sources.
What crackpot website did you get this?
Sources. It's not just a website. I have my okay.
Yeah, I know you do. You get these guys who read the websites for you, and then they report in. But okay,
they don't read the websites for me and report in.
Yeah,
no, we have.
How it works.
All right, hey, listen. I'm going to have a Faraday cage, and in that Faraday cage, I will have a number of things that I want to be. They'll be working.
Well, these things it doesn't envelop the entire Earth when
just
you have a coronal map.
Just in case. I'm going to have my Yaesu FT817 in there. Because, that'll have communications.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea to keep a ham radio in a Faraday cage anyway.
Yeah. Well, can it just be a lead box? Do you have to build a whole
No,
cage?
lead box is fine.
Okay,
but Faraday cage, you can breathe.
I'm not going to sit in the cage. It's just for the ham radio.
No, lead box is great, but it's a lead box. I mean, please. All you need is some copper foil. There's actually some new material that comes up. My wallet's made with this stuff, and signals can't get out of it. So you can walk around with, if you get a passport card, which I've been meaning to get for going to Canada, it's the easiest way to get across the border.
How about just using your passport?
Well, you're dragging your passport around. It's not really.
John, why are you limping? I'm carrying my passport around. It's so heavy.
I know what you're saying, but I just think, why drag around a big old document like that?
Oh, it's so big, the document. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't mean to hurt you with my passport.
Well, I'm glad to see that you're on some sort of a sarcastic roll here, and you think it's hilarious.
Well, I'm doing a Dvorak, actually. It's role reversal, which is kind of
I'm
weird.
noticing this. But
kind
anyway,
of weird.
So, I know. That's why I'm appreciative. I'm actually in awe.
It's kind of twisted.
How funny you are.
It's kind of twisted. What is wrong with this picture?
So anyway, the point is that when you get the passport card, they put it in a little Faraday cage. And it's this material that you can get. I guess you can buy it. And you can actually just use this stuff instead of, generally speaking, a good Faraday cage is this copper stuff with little holes in it. Have you ever seen this stuff? And
of course.
It resists all kinds of things. But and no anything metal, just metal box.
Metal? It just has to be metal? I mean,
if you don't want steel.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it has to be some sort of a metal that doesn't allow RF to pass.
Right. So, okay. Because the transceiver itself is in a metal casing, but that's not going to be enough.
Right.
Yeah, it has to be complete.
Okay, well, let's go back to this idea. So then what? So we have a big event. Boom! Blows out a bunch of transformers, takes the satellite communications down, blows up the Google. The whole net goes down. Let's say it happens. It's really bad. The net goes down. What happens? So now what? What's your point?
Well,
how is this going to affect anything?
Oh, okay. It won't affect anything then.
No, I'm just asking you, what do you think is going to be the fallout? Are they going to have martial law?
Well, it depends.
Are they going to start rounding people up?
Gays and gypsies first. And dudes in dresses.
Well, that would be on the top of my list.
Now, the funny thing about this story is that it's really quite funny. Is that apparently this came from Snowden. You see, everything now.
What?
Oh yeah, it didn't. Obviously, John. Come on.
Everything comes from Snowden now.
I mean, obviously it didn't. But it's important because I just want to get on the Snowden thing for a second because there's a lot going on. First of all, you can pretty much. Check it right off the list. What we were talking about Snowden's dad, and that I didn't even think it is his dad, the guy who's coming out saying, who apparently has a visa to go to Russia to see him. And so now Snowden sends this whole thing stinks. Snowden sends an email to the Huffington Post, because apparently Glenn Greenwald's no good anymore, and he says,
"What?
Yeah, you didn't."
That's bull crap.
Oh well. This got picked up pretty big, pretty wild, pretty far. No,
I think your initial observation is Glenn Greenwald's no good anymore. So he's sending just blowing a quickie email to the Huffington Post of all publications.
Yep. And he's saying, because remember, and I also said, look out for this lawyer, this Bruce Fein, this guy,
Yeah, we've talked about him.
Right. So Snowden says, I've been fortunate to have legal advice. Here, the National Security Agency whistleblower Edward Snowden wants to set the record straight after individuals associated with his father have, in his words, misled journalists into printing false claims about his situation. In an emailed statement to the Huffington Post, Snowden said that neither his father, Lon Snowden, his father's lawyer, Bruce Fein, nor Fein's wife, Maddie Fein, this is interesting, represent me in any way. None of them have been or are involved in my current situation, and this will not change in the future, Snowden said of his father and the Feins. I asked journalists to understand that they do not possess any special knowledge regarding my situation or future plans, and not to exploit the tragic vacuum of my father's emotional compromise for the sake of tabloid news. Hello? That's rather explosive, I would say.
What is you think it means?
Well, these are the camps that are involved, and Fein is, he represents entire countries. This guy, he's a kook. And I think my initial reaction was, these are spooks trying to get to him. They're on some team that's not necessarily his team, posing as his dad, and this is his way of going, hold on, back off. I don't think he can say, hey, I'm on this team, and the other team's coming over to kill me. So this is how it's done, and he needs to get really, just giving it to Glenn Greenwald. You can't. Glenn's no good anymore. I mean,
Glenn's got his own agenda.
Oh,
he's got whatever documents he wanted.
Yeah,
he doesn't give a shit about this guy,
no.
And he's going to just promote the Glenn Greenwald brand.
Yeah, brand and his lords, which I think is, I said incorrectly MI6, but it's MI5. Now, I'm looking through this,
which is part of the same.
Well, yeah. So
it's unlike us, they're a continuum. It's like the FBI is MI5. Only they're spooks,
right?
And the MI6 is the international group, but they're actually all in this. The kind of you move from one to the other rather easily. Less so with the FBI and the CIA until recently, when they're moving these guys, from FBI to CIA to Defense Department. And it's like now it's musical chairs.
So so if you look at this Bruce Fine guy is very, very, very interesting. He was also a legal advisor for the Ron Paul 2012 presidential campaign. Probably helped tank it. Now that I think about it,
actually, when we were analyzing the campaign early on, we had discussed that possibility that he was there to screw up the campaign. So
was that Fine? Was that Fine who we're talking about?
Well, we were talking about somebody.
He is represented as a lobbyist Pakistan, Sudan, Turkey, Tamil.
Tamil?
Yeah.
Okay.
As in the Tamil Tigers?
Yeah, but it's not a country. It's a group of
I didn't
terrorists.
say country. I said that's just a list. Yeah, he represents terrorists. Exactly. So it's a very interesting guy. There's a couple of links in the show notes so you can. I mean, we're on to him right away that this guy is no good, and his whole his legal practice seems to be sketchy at best. So I'm looking around, and I find some pretty interesting things. Snowden, as the story goes, he didn't reach out to Glenn Greenwald. Turns out that Greenwald actually wasn't even interested. I think, do I have this?
Yeah, Poitras said that, and Greenwald has admitted to this, that he was approached a month earlier.
Here I have, so now there's this Moss guy. We talked about the Moss guy who all of a sudden is in the picture as one of reporting on the situation. And this is actually the clip that led me to some research.
It was really interesting and really unique. He chose them not because they work for the biggest publications in the world, which neither one of them do. He chose them because they had similar political sympathies, similar ideas that he had. And in particular with Laura Poitras, he knew that she had been under surveillance herself and that she was probably capable of conducting encrypted communications, which he required. He actually tried to contact Glenn Greenwald initially first, but Greenwald didn't have encrypted communications and didn't really kind of want to get up to speed on that, so just kind of ignored Snowden's requests. And so he went to Poitras, and Poitras, who's been under surveillance, has been stopped at airports more than 40 times, who's working on a film about surveillance, and who is leading a very encrypted kind of life. She was able to offer the encryption and the security that Snowden required in order to be able to disclose the NSA files.
Now that's only part of the story, because Poitras, and again, all this is laid out in the show notes. What
you should, I'm just saying, you should use her name properly.
Laura Poitras.
Yeah, no, it's Laura Poitras, stopped at airports 40 times. That's her.
That's her full name. Laura Poitras, stopped at airport 40 times. She went to Applebaum. Now, Applebaum is the guy who is behind the creation of the Great Compromise Tor network, and also is the guy who all of a sudden popped on the scene as the spokesperson for Julian Assange. And you'll recall that he was already involved 2 years ago in a documentary with Laura Poitras, stopped at the airport 40 times. So she went to him, and these people are all connected, and I'm going to tell you how in a second. She went to him and said, all right, we've got to figure out if this guy is for real. And Applebaum went, oh, I know how to do that. We'll ask him some questions on the secure encrypted connection, and I'll know if he's for real. And I have a copy of these questions, which these questions have no bearing on whether the guy is for real or not, but I'll give you 10 of them. Are German authorities or German politicians involved in the NSA surveillance system? But if details about the system are now exposed, who will be charged? Did the NSA help to create Stuxnet? What are some of the big surveillance programs that are active today, and how do international partners aid the NSA? Follow up, is there a way of circumventing that? Tor. Do the NSA and its partners across the globe do full dragnet data collection for telephone calls, text, and data? The NSA is building a massive new data center in Utah. What is its purpose? I mean, really? I could answer these questions. Do private companies help the NSA? Hello. Are there companies that refuse to cooperate with the NSA? What websites should a person avoid if they don't want to get targeted by the NSA? And the last one I have, what happens after the NSA targets a user? So, okay, so I'm like, these are pretty dumb questions, but okay, we'll just, whatever, we'll go with it. Now this Laura Poitras stopped 40 times. Now she's very irritating to me. And her whole persona, the pictures, and now she's kind of floating out there she says she wants to be really low key, but she's got all these really styled of her looking out the window, black and white pictures.
Yeah, no, these are all pro shots.
Totally pro, totally styled.
There's no camera phone pictures here we're involved with.
Now, I really went down and did some deep searching.
Selfies.
Selfies, exactly. And, I've been looking at who's been financing her. And I find that she's been financed through a grant from Rebecca Lichtenfeld, who represents the Bertha Foundation. Remember the Bertha Foundation, John?
Yeah, they come up in the conversation about once every 6 months.
So the Bertha Foundation finances IDFA, the independent, IFDA, the IDFA, the Independent Documentary Film Association, but also the the Brit documentaries, BritDoc, the BritDoc funds, and they have directly financed Laura Poitras. Now, I'll remind you that we have not just the financing of Laura Poitras, Stop 40 Times, getting into the country, but they have also provided the legal representative for WikiLeaks. Remember Jennifer Robinson?
Right.
Jennifer Robinson is Julian Assange's and WikiLeaks' lawyer, or reading from the Book of Knowledge, an Australian human rights lawyer. She's the legal director for the Bertha Foundation in London and the adjunct lecturer at the University of Sydney Law School. And since 2010, Robinson has been a member of the legal team representing Assange and WikiLeaks in London. Now, Assange and WikiLeaks, they even have if you go to wikileaks.org, you can see they have a legal defense fund for Snowden. Yeah, they've raised $12,000 or some ridiculously low amount because no one cares. Everyone's got a big mouth, but no one actually cares to help them out. And they're probably right, because this Bertha Foundation, they are financing Link TV. Are you familiar with Link TV?
Yeah, and there's an interesting story going on around Link TV. I get some clips there once in a while.
Tell me.
Link TV, apparently they have a management crisis. So they've fired most of their people, and they're going to replace them with interns, unpaid interns, which is essentially illegal once you understand the mechanism of interns. Mm-hmm. And they're cracking down on this. And what you do, you bring a bunch of interns in, you make them do real work, and then they can sue you, and the courts will give them all the money that you owed them. And so Link TV is essentially at this moment, as we do this show, it's seemingly coming apart at the seams. But they essentially are an extremely left-wing alternative to free speech TV with many of the same programs. But most of the stuff on Link TV are documentaries, and I assume that the documentaries that are funneled from these people. So
the Bertha Foundation also funded that Jeremy Scahill Dirty Wars
Wars movie, right? Jeremy Scahill.
Scahill, yeah. They are okay. Now, here's what I want you to do. and if you go to the Bertha Foundation website, go to berthafoundation.org.
I'm there.
Okay. You cannot find out anything about them.
Right.
We know
nothing.
that.
Believe me, as you've been speaking, both of us do.
I worked for hours, and you cannot find. I finally tweeted him, and I said, at Bertha FN or whatever. I said, "Where's your money from? Who is financing you?" The CEO was this chick, Laura Tabatsnik, who is just a front. She's like some party girl from New York. She lives in a $1 million condo in Brooklyn Heights. She's registered on their website, but she's a nubnuck. She's a nothing, a nobody.
Nudnik.
A nugnik, whatever. So, but these guys there's millions and millions and millions of dollars. They also finance the Center for Constitutional Rights. They're mentioned in the. Are you familiar with the Center for Constitutional Rights? The CCR?
Not offhand.
And all of these foundations, they all have about $7 million in revenue, between $7 and $10 million annually. I looked at all the Form 990s. And they do big scholarships, so there is millions and millions of dollars. Now, by the way, I'm not against it, because I think these documentaries, some of them that they've been financing, are well worthwhile. They sponsor. They are the BritDoc financiers. That's a lot of money that's going on there. Now,
if you go to the wiki page and try to find the Bertha Foundation, it redirects you to BritDoc.
Now to BritDoc, exactly. Now look at the logo of the Bertha Foundation, John.
Right, it's the B with the whatever. It's just like it's a decorative.
Right. They've changed, but they've changed this logo recently.
Oh.
Go to BetweenTheLinesFest.com. BetweenTheLinesFest.com.
Okay, hang on.
You're going to like this.
I'm glad when you get off on the deep end here, this is all good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
So this is another documentary film fest that they've financed. You there? Between the Lines?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm looking at it now.
Click on video on the menu there. Video.
You
get a whole bunch.
Now at the bottom of this page, by the way, they have the new logo.
No, that's the old logo, John. And look at it. Look at the logo. What does it look like? It's no longer the little pretty flower. This looks like a gear.
Yeah, kind of.
Symbolism, my friend. Go to Google and type in images for communist images. Check it out. They all have gears. There's all like a circle gear with of course they got the hammer and sickle. On here they have a big B in the middle. This is symbolism matters. So I think somehow there's some.
Wait. You're thinking this is a Russian front?
I don't know if it's Russian. It could be any kind of. It would make sense because
the Russian. By the way, let's make one thing clear. Even though as libertarian and the rest of it, as we are in the show, and as amenable we are to all sorts of things, the Russians are notorious historically for setting up these operations all over the place and hiding their connection to them. I mean, This is a well-established expertise that the Russians have developed. We do it too, but it's different because if you were doing the No Agenda show in Russia and we were Russians.
We have eagles and arrows and stars, and we have our own little things. But now every single there's the touch points of all these people, WikiLeaks, Snowden, it all comes back to this Bertha Foundation.
Which there's scant little.
Zero. You cannot. We have people in the intelligence community that can surely send us some insight into this. Well, it's even unclear if they're located in South Africa or if they're in the United Kingdom. Here's something. I didn't want to do it. Hold on. Who is BerthaFoundation.org? So this Nutnik, what's her name? Laura Tabaznik is on the Who Is record, and she's got a New York cell phone listed. You might want to try call that, and just say, "Hey, where's your money come from?" But it makes no sense that some chick who lives at 70 Washington Street, penthouse, in Brooklyn, registered, runs, and owns this entire thing. I mean, no, it's just not. It's not true. It's just that doesn't make any sense. And the only thing you can find on her.
How do you spell her last name?
You're going to get this,
Laura.
Yeah, Tango, Alpha, Bravo, Alpha, Tango, Zulu, November, India, Kilo, Tabatsnik. You're not going to get any further than I did, which is, you get the video of her. We played the video.
Is it Laura or Lara?
Lara.
Yeah, okay.
I've heard, just talking some crap about how she helped some poor kids in Africa once.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at her.
It's nothing. It's not even worth playing. There's no information on this entire outfit. But you get everyone, all these nonprofits, like a representative from the Bertha Foundation came to talk to us and said, we're going to match your funds. But they don't mention who. It's like this stealth organization. And they changed their logo from gears to flower.
Fascinating.
It is,
but a dead end. That's which makes it even more interesting.
For me, it's frustrating because it's a dead end. Exactly.
Well, there's no such thing as a dead end.
So the only other, and you can kind of see how it fits together. Remember, we saw Harry Belafonte quotes on the Bertha Foundation website. Harry Belafonte, by the way, who admits that he's a communist.
No, he's a communist.
Yeah.
He's not like a communist. He's a communist.
What does that mean?
It means he's not like a guy who says he's a communist. He's not like
he's an actual commie.
He's not like these guys who I'm a communist, kind of thing. He's a real communist. I mean, he's a serious communist. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that necessarily.
No, not at all.
It's in a free society. There's nothing wrong with it. But let's be honest about it. He's not working for your best interest necessarily.
No. And then you have Rebecca Lichtenfeld, and she is in charge of. So she did the documentary with Peter Gabriel, which is how Peter Gabriel got involved with the Bertha Foundation. Remember, Peter Gabriel's quotes are also on the website. Yeah. So Rebecca Lichtenfeld, she's a producer. Let's see. She also produced Dirty Wars. Oh, gee, how coincidental. The Real World of Peter Gabriel. And, she got special thanks for Dirty Wars. Yeah, special thanks because she's the one that helped finance it. And she makes all the choices for the Bertha. Has a specific good pitch. Here, hold on a second. Goodpitch.org. Rebecca Lichtenfeld. I manage the media portfolio for Bertha Philanthropies, and as a new name, which advises the Bertha Foundation. We believe that the media has the power to inform, educate, and inspire action. And so they also give money to the Sundance Institute. So I like this a lot because here's clearly some ideological outfit hiding behind this essentially a website and a couple of dorky looking chicks, and they are financing anti-American media or anti-American messaging or philosophy.
Well, we don't know.
Well, no, we do know. Dirty Wars is saying America sucks, and it's good. Yeah. It's true. It's true. They're, WikiLeaks, they're literally financing their legal help.
But is this being? Do we have? But what we don't know. I think this is the point I was trying to make subtly. I think what we don't know is their actual motivation.
Well, I'm just guessing, looking at the symbolism and who they're working with, that it feels like it could be could be Russian.
Yeah, Russian,
and it would make sense because we're embarrassing the Russians constantly. Are embarrassing us.
Yeah. So that's what we do. This is the new form of cyber war.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if I was Putin, I'd be doing that. I'd be giving the green light to all these things.
Now, I will say that I think some real crap is going on that is not being reported, and that is.
Let me say this before you finish discussing the Bertha Foundation per se. When you have a company,
I'm done with Bertha, but go ahead.
When you're hiding yourself to this extent, it would I'm just guessing. I would put it in the red book. But I would guess that if the actual guy behind this, which could be Soros, because he's, who knows what he's up to. But the guy behind it, the big money, there's a money bags guy behind this whole thing. Yeah. It's not a bunch of people giving $10. Let's face it. There's a big pot of money that some guy's got. If you knew who it was, it would destroy the operation.
Let me Google Bertha Soros. I mean, the name Bertha is the giveaway, but we just don't understand what the clue is.
No, I agree with that too. In fact, I was Googling Bertha to try to find some, because it's like mobbed up places. They cannot open an operation that's legitimate and
no, of course not,
without giving you a hint. We had one down the street here, and it was a massive. It was like Best Buy. It was all over the state of California, and it was a great place to shop. Beautiful big stores, and it was called White Front. And
yeah, good one.
When they finally busted him, and it was all mobbed up, a bunch of guys in protective custody, by the way. And then you heard the name again. How obvious!
Funny. That's funny.
Anyway, so I would assume Bertha is referring to someone. Probably, I would start looking at maybe famous Soviet women of some sort. I don't know.
Is Bertha like? It's not a Soviet name, is it?
Oh, I would think so.
Really, Bertha.
Germanic, from Old High German Bertha, meaning bright one.
Oh, wow. It's code, man. There's some cool code going on.
No, it is code. The name occurs as a theonym, surviving as Berchtha, a figure in Alpine folklore connected to the wild hunt, probably an epithet of something else. Bertha appears as a Frankish given name as early as the 6th century. The Germanic Bertha as a given name may, however, not originate with the theonym, but rather as a short form of the dithemic given names, including the bright element. This is notably the case with the mother of Charlemagne, Bertrada, called Bertha Broadfoot. Carolingian use of the name Bertha, as in Bertha, daughter of Charlemagne, and Bertha, daughter of Lothar II, are in this tradition.
What do you get from this?
Well, Charlemagne's a big deal.
It's the Illuminati, man.
There's definitely something in here that's a joke. It's a gag.
Yeah.
And we just have to figure out what the gag is. But it's like, the 33 meme we've been talking about this for 7 years.
Yeah, but this is a little different, John.
No, I know, but
the Bertha Foundation is all over WikiLeaks, Snowden, Poitras, everything. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but I know that doesn't mean we can discover the punchline to the name.
No, but we have a lot of people listening to this show.
Yeah, somebody might just say it. I mean, give it to us. But we got a lot of people listening to the show, and we can't get 33 out of them. But
that's
because I know there's something involved with the stock market. Bertha Krupp, there's a lot of Berthas. I'll look at this list and see if there's anything that rings a bell. Bertha of Savoy. We had a gun called the Big Bertha.
Yeah, it could be some kind of play on that. Hey, I made a mistake. I misread something. I read it properly, but I misunderstood what was happening. Remember I was talking about Gazprom doing a deal with Azerbaijan and what was going on with that?
Yeah.
So Gazprom is buying from Azerbaijan. And today I kind of was helped along, and I figured out Mr. Oil actually helped me with a couple of pointers. So the Azerbaijan gas company wound up buying 66% of Greece's DESFA. This happened a couple weeks ago. And this is important because there's a pipeline called the TAP, the Trans-Adriatic Pipeline. And this thing is competing directly with Russia's South Stream. And brand new information is that both BP and Total have now bought into this. This happened just this week. Have now bought each 20% stake in the Trans-Adriatic pipeline, and this is all about getting gas to Europe. And so they've effectively, with the Nabucco pipeline is dead, but they've effectively cut off Gazprom, and right now, and this thing goes to the Caspian Sea. Right now, there's a huge fire in a Caspian oil field, and there's already rumors that it may be a strike from the Russians trying to slow this down so that they can compete with their South Stream pipeline. And so this, it's mysterious. It's kind of like like what happened in the Gulf here. So it's a real fire, and I think they got everybody off. I don't know if there's any if anyone's been hurt or not. And so this race is now ongoing. And I think what Putin tried to do, or what Gazprom tried to do, is try to buy away some of the gas from Azerbaijan. Try to either raise the price or try to compete somehow. But it's not working out, and now we have potential sabotage taking place in the Caspian field, which is part of the Trans-Adriatic pipeline. And I'm going to make a prediction based on. I'm just going to think that, skeptically as I do, I'm going to think that may actually, or pessimistically, that may be sabotage. There may be the real war may be going on here. I'm going to say that we are going to have some real crap coming down in Turkey, because this is the only place where everybody plays.
Well, there is the thing going on in Egypt, which I have one little short clip of describing some of it. It's a mess, killing hundreds of people literally, and
we don't know, but I'm looking into it. Yeah.
Well, they got good footage. Let's put it that way. I don't think this is photoshopped. But anyway, there's all hell breaking loose, and the Muslim Brotherhood is getting a lot of attention for itself. And it turns out there's other countries where they're protesting, which has nothing to do with these. I never do get these alien. The protests at the San Francisco City Hall, for example.
Right.
What is the point of that? Well, anyway, the big numbers, the guys who are really up in arms, at least according to the reports I've seen, and I believe it to be true, because I know that they've got to be the next target for this kind of coup, is Turkey. There's huge, all hell's breaking loose in Turkey.
So check it out. The total BP American Hillary Clinton backed TAP line. That it goes through Turkey, then it all takes, they go through Albania, and from Albania it's going into Italy, but it all goes through Greece first, and now they own that, so it's all going through Greece. The Gazprom South Stream circumvents all of that, but they also go through Turkey, and so we have the two competing lines both going through Turkey. To me, it's like this is the perfect opportunity. Someone's got to blow something up, or we got to have some kind of terrorism. I'm just saying it's going to be Turkey. That's where it has to happen.
Well, it'll be interesting, and we still haven't seen the fruition of our economic hitman's assertion that we're going to do some major embargo of some sort against the Russians, and that's still in play. So, don't know. Something's up.
Well, a lot is up. And it just seems good that, all the Middle East is crap, It's like, it's all falling apart. And then no one's going to be paying attention to what's happening up a little north. But if it really starts happening, if this, bogative terrorism, occupation, pipeline blowing up, killing people business moves to Turkey, not too long before it's in Europe. And it can be Greece, it can be Italy, it could be up north, it could be Austria. That's where a lot of these pipelines, the Russians like to terminate their pipelines in Austria to get into Europe. Within a couple of years, we could have the so-called Al Qaeda on the Austrian Peninsula. Well.
Well, Europe is ripe. I mean, if you take, and again, I'm going to buy into all the footage I've seen all over Egypt of the Muslim Brotherhood people complaining and getting killed in the process. And what they say they want to die, so it seems like a kind of a weird irony there. But let's just say that these are legit. If these protests are legit, it's because they have 25% of the Egyptian population. If you can get 25% of the population of any country to riot in the streets, you've got problems on your hands because you cannot manage that. In Europe, with all the number of, I would say, conservative Muslims that are there, and especially in France, if you could get the entire population of these people to riot in the streets, and especially with the European governments being the way they are, I think they could take over the place.
And it wouldn't be the first time. Where have I seen this attempted before? Let me think. WW something. Oh, yeah. World War.
So actually it goes back to the Crusades. It would be pre-Crusades when the Muslims actually took over most of the southern part of all of Europe. But they keep talking. And here's the joke of it. It's not as though, everyone's like, well, most Muslims would have nothing to do with this. But the ones, there's enough of them that do. It's a huge number. And they keep talking about doing this. It's not as though anyone wasn't given fair warning when these guys get up in front of their audience and start yelling about creating the new caliphate. Right. What do we think that they're just joking? Or are they just looking for the big yuck? I mean, I don't see why we don't take this a little more seriously if they're saying this. What we do is we look at it and we go, oh, well, that's just an extremist guy, But why does he got such a big audience?
One of my, well, not my best friend, but certainly very good acquaintance and someone I work with was killed on this very pretense, by a crazy Muslim, Theo van Gogh. Shot him, cut his throat, and then stuck the knife in his chest.
With a note.
Broad daylight in Amsterdam because of a movie.
Yeah, and everyone stood around.
Well, no, everyone says, I don't know, whatever. It's not really true. I guess. No, whatever. But enough of your Mossad talk, John C. Dvorak.
What else we got?
Nah, I think we're done.
Wait a minute. Let me look at my list here.
I'm going to sit here by my email or my bit message and wait for the information to come in about the Bertha Foundation.
I think you're going to have
hopeful. I'm hopeful.
Oh, we got the new savior at CNN. Look this guy up. Oh. I got to talk about this. The
Australian guy or Canadian guy?
No, he's not Australian.
Where is he from? Canadian. Yeah. Strombolombolus.
Yeah, I have a little clip of him talking. You can hear it, and then I got to tell you what's going on.
The hell of an interviewer, and you almost have his smile. This guy's been shining a light on racism, poverty, and classism, and I heard he's a Prince fan. You got a go-to song, Adore by Prince.
I watched his show twice. He's boring.
Well, he's not as boring as Pierce, and he's not. True. And here's the story. Let me just give you the background. This guy has got a show on the CBC. And, in fact, if you look at his wiki page, you'll see at least some remnants of him.
Let me, before you say that, let me explain how this works. He is friends with big-name celebrities. That's why he was brought into CNN. How does he become friends with big-name celebrities? Because you're on a state government-controlled broadcast system. I had this exact same thing back in the early 80s. You're on a state-controlled government broadcast system. You have, only a couple of, big stations. You're the one. Everybody who goes into Canada is going to be on the talk show to promote their book, their record.
The Strombo show,
yeah.
Call it.
And so he was the guy, and he's kind of the default guy. The default doesn't mean great, and now he's come over here very much like Pierce Moron, and it's not going to work. I mean, where are the ratings? He's been on for months now. It's not going to work.
Well, it's a possibility, but that's not what I was going to talk about.
Sorry.
I was just more amused by, because I hadn't seen him yet, because in Canada, I've watched the show up there. It's a little actually better produced show in Canada than CNN version. And they run a bunch of packages. They don't do that so much in Canada. But in Canada, and by the way, when I'm in Port Angeles and I'm always watching Canada TV, so I watch this guy. My wife goes ballistic. She hates this guy.
Yeah, I don't like him either. I'm with
a lot
Mimi.
of people just viscerally dislike him.
I'm with Mimi.
But here's the joke of it. In Canada, he's like earrings hanging down, soul patch, long sideburns, scruffy. He looks like crap. He looks like he should not be on TV. He's got the piercing in his nose and a tongue stud, and he's just horrible. And so I did. That's why I was cracking up. I saw him on CNN. Earrings are gone. Soul patch is gone. All the studs and all that. It's all gone. He's cleaned him up. And I watched him and I said, I didn't realize it before, but I actually liked him better with all the because he had some interest. He's got no interest in his face now. It's just he's a real dull-looking person that needs all the studs and earrings and soul patches and spots of hair and And so I was just I'm thinking. And you would have to agree with this. The guys at CNN, which are just idiots, they said, we'd like to get you to do this show here at CNN. Would you, we have a kind of, I don't want to say it's a dress code, but we have like a little.
Say no more, my friend. I know how this goes. And they ruined the only thing good about him.
Yeah.
He had a good look.
But I imagine him going, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, of course. He's like, nah, no problem.
No problem. I'm cutting all this stuff off. So that was what cracked me up. I said, because I kept looking at him. I said, that name's familiar. And I kept looking at him, but I couldn't recognize him without all the shit on his face.
Why do you bring this up?
I don't know. I think he's gonna actually.
CNN is going out of business.
I think he's gonna bump Morgan.
No. Not at all. Yesterday, I'm here. I'm home alone. The cable box in the studio's on the fritz, so I'm like, I'm going to turn on just some CNN in the living room while I'm cooking a little dinner for myself. I'm doing some research, and they've got like documentaries, and they have who's the girl who was in the morning show who got kicked off?
Erin.
No. The girl we know. She had to leave.
Oh, Erica. No, she's long gone.
Not Erica.
No, not Erica Hill.
No.
Who do we know?
The girl, Soledad.
Oh, Soledad.
Was it Soledad?
Yeah. She got kicked into cable TV, HBO sports reporting.
No, but she still gets to do her specials.
Right.
So her specials on last night, and I should have recorded it. And she's interviewing a child molester in jail. And and she's so horrible. I'm like, this Zucker she's ruining. CNN was already lame, but now it's not even watchable. It's just, I want some news. Just show me a shot of Tahrir Square, or show me something.
Just have some webcams active.
But this is the hole that is so large and gaping in television news. Someone's going to come in and take over this spot. And hello, RT.
Yeah, RT, they haven't got the balls to do anything right. We have the exact right idea, but we're never gonna get hired.
We
don't want to do a show on the RT. No. We just want to fix RT.
No. I'd love to fix it because the auditions would be so much fun.
Oh, the auditions would be worth the price of it. We could charge people to come to the auditions.
No, we'll have a paywall website.
Yes,
so you can watch
the auditions.
Showing the auditions. In fact, I think we could do a pay-per-view special of you and I doing the auditions.
I'd pay.
Yeah, I know I would. All right, my friend, way too long once again. We're giving people more value than they contributed, but there you go. We'll put some in the Karma Bank. Hopefully we'll get some of that back on Thursday. So, missions. What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to go up to the Petaluma and do a show, and then I'm going to come back and try to find out the origin of the Bertha Foundation.
Good. I'm going to be just all over the Bertha Foundation. I have to say, I'm a little obsessed. I was actually, so I was doing this Friday night even. I was yelling at my computer going, I'll get you, Bertha Foundation. I'll find out who you are.
It may not be doable on the computer.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for support of the program, of the work you do. I am your pasta turophile. And I am here in the Travis Heights Hideout in the capital of the Drone Star States, Austin, Texas. In the morning, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Thursday. Remember, Dvorak.org/NA. See you then, right here for No Agenda.
The best podcast in the universe.
Shut up, slave.
Dvorak.org/NA.